Take derivative still.
The agony booth is a most effective means of discipline.
Hello and welcome to Kahs-wan Reviews number 4. Yes, I'm resurrecting a very old show title. This is an old show title that I used back when I first started my channel, and I wanted to review Star Trek Picard Season 2, and I wanted, because of course my channel has Vulcan kind of theme going on, and of course the Kahs-wan is the rite of passage for young Vulcans, where they go through the desert and survive, and
the Forge.
We get to see it. Yeah, we get to see it in yesterday's.
Yesteryear.
We get to see it in yesteryear in the animated series. Yes,
but we actually get to see the Forge in the Enterprise 3-parter when with T'Pau. That's
right. That's true. And I generally don't talk about things that I know I'm probably not going to like. However, when I do that anyway, I call it Kahs-wan. So it's taken me this long to get back to Kurtzman Trek. We've talked about it here and there in Shore Leave, but I never usually don't dedicate a live stream to it.
Like, there's 735 iterations of good Star Trek we could watch.
Yeah.
But the only reason that this one's sort of rising to the top of the watch list is because it's new, and I'm a sucker for new Star Trek. I try and give everything a fair shake, and there's a lot that I don't like in new Trek, and there's some stuff that I find palatable. And so to put the money where the mouth is, I thought that I would watch this, and I asked Jill if she would review it with me. So if anybody has any difficulties with the perceived hate watching or anything like that, it's because I wanted to watch it, and Jill is my friend, and she was nice enough to say, yes, we'll talk about it, Scott.
Yes, we'll talk about it, Scott, but that's not the reason I'm reviewing it. I'm reviewing it because it's the pinnacle of all Kurtzman Trek. I'm a little different from Scotty. I don't like any of Kurtzman Trek, even though I do believe it's terrible to varying degrees. There are varying degrees of shit, but this is the peak. This is the top. This is Kurtzman making exactly what he wanted to make on day one. It's the Emperor has no clothes. It's all naked, right?
And to be fair, like, this was something that I was afraid that maybe I'd like it, and then we'd have a huge fight about the state of Star Trek currently. But I'm kind of swayed to your side right now, because if this is what the state of Star Trek is right now, let it die.
Well, yeah, can't you wait for Starfleet Academy, where they're going to have 90210?
Well, and I know, like, everybody and their half-brother Cybok has watched this already, and they've watched all the reviews, and people have said it in different many times, many ways, but we haven't yet, and so I'm just looking forward to it.
No, just because everybody's talking about it doesn't mean people can't continue to talk about it, because
but when Mike and Rich do it, that seems like the last nail.
That's like okay, so they broke a plate, so la-di-da, then no one can talk about it now.
I don't want to talk about Mike and Rich like that.
They broke their super beautiful extra special plate that had nothing to do with Kurtzman Trek, but because I think Mike just wanted to break a plate. I didn't think he was expecting to like Star Trek Picard Season 3.
No, I don't. That's true. Did you? Yeah. Anyway,
I didn't like it, but
we can talk about it next week on our new Red Letter Media review podcast.
I could review the shit out of Red Letter Media. I like these guys a lot.
Yeah.
But we're in a difficult time in Star Trek, and I was hoping, I always hope for a good future, but this is what we have. Everyone says this is the bottom of the barrel, but I say this is the height of Kurtzman Trek. He's been dying to make this something so far removed from Star Trek that even those who are paid to talk about it have to admit, even while praising other new Trek that also isn't Star Trek, but they pretend more. But they actually have to say something against this one, because this one doesn't even pretend. And it's.
I've
For
seen
them,
people who have
it's just
resigned themselves to being like, and
yeah.
I kind of adopt what they're saying. It's like, I understand that you don't like it. I understand that you don't think it's very good, but you do have to acknowledge that it exists. And that is my baseline for when it comes to Kurtzman Trek. Just acknowledge that it exists.
it's
That's all I
it's
ask of people when having the conversation. And I watched their review and they were like, there's no reason for this to exist.
there's no reason for it to exist, but someone did pick up a camera. Someone
But
did hire some
yes,
actors to stand in a setting and run around with clunky choreography and bad action and bad dialogue.
horrible cinematography,
It
questionable special
exists.
effects. It
Like
exists. It
this
shouldn't.
was something.
No, but this, you're
eh,
absolutely right.
eh,
This is the height of Kurtzman Trek because this is his passion project. I didn't even realize in the relationship between Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams starts as far back as Alias. And so he's always been, you know, the spy thriller. That's his jam. Like we forget that
mhm.
Roberto Orci was the Star Trek fan out of the three hacks, and they kicked him out because he wanted too much Star Trek.
Yes, I did hear about that. I'm curious to what he would have made, but
Nothing good.
anyway,
He's still stuck with
no.
Kurtzman and JJ.
No, but do you think there's any hope for Skydance to do the right thing and let Kurtzman's secret hideout contract expire? And it may happen in the middle of the year if it happens.
Well, and it's been brought up before, and I think that it's part of the reason why I don't really like doing I don't like this movie reviews is because it is a form of just free advertising, shining a spotlight on it. But hopefully, the people who are interested in Star Trek and want to watch this will find more pleasure in any of the reviews that are out there because quite frankly, I think that the snark makes it more interesting
Hmm.
because at least during any of the reviews of the people who you think are Star Trek fans talking about this so-called Star Trek television special, at least the people doing the reviews are referencing Star Trek because it's more than the television special does.
Yeah, exactly. No, this doesn't. I had to strain. I tried to find something that was Star Trek. They have some Star Trek weapons on the wall. I
Yeah,
think maybe that's it.
they do. There is a sound effect, and as very I don't know sound wise in terms of the score, it rips off First Contact. Like so, there's that. It isn't original enough to make its own score for the villain, and so they ripped off First Contact,
It overuses the fanfare to a nauseating degree. Like,
which it
why is
doesn't
that happening
deserve.
right now?
I don't know. It doesn't deserve it. And this is something when we were watching Picard season 3, that was one of my complaints is that they were using iconic score for scenes that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Like they used the death of Spock scene when they are going through Daystrom Station. And I was like, what are you doing? This is not what it doesn't feel right. Because I know what this song is, and if you're asking Star Trek fans to reference anything in the history of Star Trek, they can do it.
They can.
Anyway,
They
I
can. Well, lots of people, yeah, lots of Star Trek fans have this stuff. They have all the specs and diagrams at home, and they know what's going on.
exactly nice, Mr. Roshenko.
Thank you. But oh, this is always all of New Trek has always been in a separate universe to me. So it was
Hmm.
interesting to see Lower Decks kind of acquiesce to that a bit, and even in an offhanded kind of way. But
Yeah.
still, this is called this title of this live stream, and as per trying not to give any advertising um, metrics towards Section 31. I named this live stream "This Ain't Star Trek:
Yes.
31 Flavors of Filth,"
Hmm.
and that's because, well, and he's not here, but Terrier helped me come up with this name, and so did Stark of Iron, Tony. Like I think everybody came together to help me name this, make sure that I'm not advertising for this crap because I don't want to. And "This Ain't Star Trek" is actually the name of a porno parody with the Star Trek theme, and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
But
it's good. Actually, you know
I
what?
hear.
If you what I think they have a version on YouTube. It might have been taken down by copyright, but they remove all the sexy bits, and it's actually not a bad Star Trek movie. or
That's what I
episode.
hear.
Yeah.
It adheres to the canon better than
Than this.
anything in New Trek,
Yes.
except for maybe the orgies itself.
But well, and the thing is, like I prefer the director's cut. Call me snob.
There's a director's.
Well, it's the one that's uncut, uncensored. You can only
Oh,
find it
that's
on
right.
Yes. Because yeah,
Okay.
for science.
Okay. So before we actually talk about the movie, we're going to talk about what Section 31 actually is.
Can we
in
say hi to the
context for
chat?
anybody. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But before we actually talk about Section 31, I'm going
All
to
right.
I want to talk to the chat. You read my mind. I
Great.
know they've been waiting, but we had to have the intro, right?
Introductions are important. Yes.
Mhm. Real Wade Nation Gaming, he's here. Franco Walker, and who also says, please subscribe, hit the bell, share, hit like, and select live chat. Yeah, because if you don't select live chat, you might miss out on some chat. And I know the chat today is going to be awesome. And he says that we were great on Trev's show, so I want to thank Trev for inviting us on that show. It was fun to hear his roast of the show and allow us to add a few bits to that. And it was just and I had an enormous time. And he also shared with me his slides for the show because I don't want to take slides of this crap. And
I
he
said I
already
was
did
gonna,
it
but
for
I
me.
lied.
Yeah, well, he did. It turns out Scotty didn't want to take slides of this either. Who could blame him? Who wants to see this? This is the ugliest. It just.
It's not. It's cheap.
No.
It looks like an episode of Discovery.
I've seen low budget sci-fi films that are darling.
Like Godzilla -1. Less of a budget, I think, than this. Didn't they make that for like 12 million? Anyway.
Oh, did they really? Oh, Michelle Yeoh got more than that.
Yeah, I know.
Greek Lars Larson says, "Are we gonna get this party started or what?" What? Here we are.
Said,
Greek
what?
Larson. Yeah, I had all my starships up and my snow and my starship in the background. I panicked and I said, "No, we can't. This doesn't deserve the 1701 or the Enterprise B or
any of them." And that's why we have
neither the A, B, C, or D.
That's why we have Alan Rickman as the Metatron in the top right corner. He is disappointed in judging us.
Yeah, yeah, because we should be reviewing yesterday's Enterprise, which we will do on Friday, as long as my dentist appointment goes well tomorrow. We'll see what happens. And I'd like to say hello to Penny.
Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Huzzah.
You can't get better shit than this. Says Franco. Well, I mean, this is, I don't know. This is runny. It's everywhere. I can't clean it up. It has overflowed the toilet. Even though it was runny, it coagulated halfway down. Okay, sorry. Hello to Maddie's daddy.
Hey, Maddie.
Wow, Jill sounds like Clavy right now. Oh, I couldn't have gotten.
That is a really great compliment, though, yo.
Actually, Maddie's daddy, I was wishing for all my friends to be here who aren't here. I wanted to talk about this with Clavy and with Bird of Prey 5. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you for saying that. Sigvaldison says, "A very good afternoon. Praise your eldritch God." Yes. Yeah, thanks, Harvey, for being stuck in that other universe so you can't destroy us. Oh, but Sigvaldison is ready for everything to end. He wants to push the button, but you're gonna have to take that up with Harvey. He's got to figure out how to get Sabu to press that button for him. Greek Lars Larson says, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the historic live stream. Jill will do the Star Trek porn, filthy porn. I never expected it, but I like it. That's what I understood from the title of the stream."
Yes.
Sorry
guarantees are not guaranteed.
No, I'm not actually.
No, I don't
maybe
think
one day.
We'll talk about it, but you're not making slides of it.
No. Maybe for a shore leave, I might fit it in there. Hey, keep it down. I'm trying to. Well, I'm not saying that live on air. I have children.
But the porn and filthy porn was fine for you.
Yeah.
But don't chloroform.
None of
It
that.
doesn't work like the movies, Gorilla.
That's a joke. Yeah, and also you can cause brain damage.
More?
Yeah, more. Well, it's assuming you have any to damage.
No, I'm speaking for myself. Nama 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 nama. Says.
Good to see you both on Trev's stream. I said
Yeah, it
hi
was
to him
fun.
in the chat to watch out for Jill because she gets a bit wild on the internet, and to Scotty for help with this. Don't think he got the irony.
No, but nama nama nama. I saw.
Oh, that's
I
so
did
funny.
see that chat, but as a guest, I didn't want to jump in and be like, "Hey, they're talking about me." So, or Jill.
Oh,
She was
right.
there too.
Yeah, when I'm on someone else's show, I let them run the chat mostly, unless I'm
Mostly.
reaching for something and I see something cool in the chat that aligns with what I want to say, which I should do more of sometimes when I'm on another person's show. I'm not as good with that. But hello to DJ Play Nice.
DJ. N's and M's.
It's them two from Trev Retro. Yeah, that was fun.
Hey, Gavin.
It's fun to be there.
Yeah.
Last
Oh,
night
and
when I was
absolutely go
ranting
check.
about
I gotta go check out more of his stuff. Do you want me to get the?
He just started. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just started. I don't even have his channel on my list
I'll
of
get the channel
channels okay, please do.
Yep.
Also post it in the chat for me because
Sure.
you have
That's-
you have a wrench.
I do.
So speaking of good channels, Gorilla's Censor's Thoughts says last night when I was ranting about this movie, we counted over 20 shows and movies it ripped off. We have determined it was written by Gemini, Google's AI. I think that is an insult to the development of artificial intelligence in general that has been making strides and advances in the past few years. And I think that it would write a way better script than this pile of goo. Because one time I asked it, I forget which two Star Trek characters I said, what would happen if they fought? Because I was just being silly. And it said, and in Star Trek, neither of these characters would battle each other because it's not the way that they solve their problems. And I was like, wait, okay, so artificial intelligence knows Star Trek better than Kurtzman Trek.
Yeah. Well, who
Captain
programmed the
Candor.
artificial
Hello.
intelligence except for the nerds?
The nerds. Yeah. Which is why I don't know why they're not implementing Asimov's rules of robotics, even though this isn't real AI. They should be at least pretending to do that. But anyway, that's a whole different discussion.
Totes.
This Ain't Star Trek is an excellent movie with high production value. we've got a fan, another fan of that film. That was a film. This is a TV show.
Okay. Yeah, this is arguably on par with the Star Wars holiday special. Except
no. That
do.
was kind of. I'm not saying I loved that or anything, but it was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny for a little while, but then it does get boring, and then it does get dated.
Then it does get boring. I like the little cartoon that was in it. There was a little,
an
animated cartoon. I saw it for the first time.
Yeah, the cartoon's great. The cartoon does actually redeem the entire runtime. So yeah, but also this Section 31 is shorter.
It was.
Yeah.
It didn't feel shorter.
No, I know.
It felt like it lasted forever.
Well, but that's the thing with the holiday special is that it feels long.
Oh, good luck with your dentist appointment, DJ Playnice.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if I finished the Star Wars holiday special. I might have not watched the last 30 minutes.
See, it seems short when you don't watch the whole thing. It's a 2.2.
I'm not sure. I kind of forget. But I saw most of it for the first time recently.
Hour and 37 minutes for the Star Wars holiday special.
And that is
an
pretty
hour
bad.
and 35 minutes.
But
an hour and 35 for Section 31.
But it had things that looked like Star Wars in it. Even if it was terrible, it had Wookiees and it had the Millennium Falcon in it.
Yeah.
it had all the characters. But
was I supposed to get excited because there was one Deltan for half a? Never mind.
Oh yeah, and she just gets unceremoniously murdered. It could have been just any random lady from anywhere.
But I think they wanted to lean into they needed anyway. We'll get there. We haven't even.
Blackburn agrees with me. AI writes quality slop. This didn't even cross that bar. Although, yeah, you can tell it's AI. AI does write terribly because they don't act. It doesn't have actual real creativity, actual real intuition. But it still gets some of the points.
Well, and that's a whole other conversation. But I have thoughts on AI.
Mm. And Greek Letters Larson says the porno Star Trek is better than Star Trek Generations. I mean, I guess I gotta go see that. If it's better than Generations. Franco Walker says, I got back from the doctor's an hour ago. I also had to get a blood test this morning. 4 taxis in one day. My goodness. I hope health insurance covers that. I'm sorry.
I hope you were
Franco.
traveling light.
And I hope the doctor figures out your problem. But let's
Sorry.
continue.
I'm sorry, Mr. Walker. You're too awesome.
So to start, we have to talk about what Section 31 should be. And but
Yeah.
first, okay, so this Section 31 new Trek thing started as a promised TV series to a full-fledged movie. They said, we're going to make a movie, guys. And then got knocked down to a TV movie. And
Actually, it was going to be a mini series at first. They did talk about doing like a limited.
They said a whole full TV series, and then then they went down to a mini series. Oh, you're right. I missed a step. TV series, mini series, then a full movie.
Well, television special. They call it a movie, but it has been, I think, recently. Sundance is on, Tarantino's kicking around, and he was like, the last time that there was a movie was in like 2019. Since then, if you're not going to a theater or if it just shows up on television, what the F is a movie now? What is it? Is it just content? You can get it on your phone? It's not a movie. Anyway, in his completely...
What was his last movie that he said?
He said the last year that a movie was released was 2019 because everything else has just been something you wait to watch on television as opposed to actually going and experiencing it
because it gets released on streaming so quickly.
Yes. There's no desire for it. Like you open it for 2 weeks and that's it. That's a movie? What?
Okay, I can understand him saying that because then you're just I don't know how many times I've said, I'll just wait till I can watch it at home.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. He's not wrong.
Well, and I think that there are two different mediums in terms of going to see it at a theater versus seeing it at home. But again, this is a whole other conversation. I don't consider Section 31 to be a movie. I consider it to be a television special.
Then I'll call it a TV show, television special. But it's not special. Well, special event. Special as in that one episode of Quantum Leap where Sam jumped into Jimmy.
Yeah, special.
That kind of special.
It is a special television.
Okay, so this is the STD spinoff. So of course it was written by the people who made Discovery.
Yeah.
So, directed by STD producer. Oh man, I can't actually pronounce it. I'm gonna mess this up. Sorry.
Do you want to put it in the private chat? I can do it. I already practiced, but I don't have it written down.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'll let you do it then.
Yeah.
Then because I
don't know it off the top of my head. Olatunde Osunsanmi.
And he's the one who's most experienced in anything for all this because he's done directing and writing and producing and everything. And then second most.
Well, can I also? I just want to interject based on the director because we're not going to talk about the director ever again throughout this because he's terrible.
No, he is terrible. Yeah.
So one of the things that I found interesting, and they didn't learn this from a production aspect, is that I think the only television. No, that's incorrect. The first television director of Star Trek was David Carson for Star Trek Generations. In terms of he had directed episodes of Next Generation and then directed Generations. Now, I think that was an issue of high turnaround time. They just wanted the movie out as quickly as possible while Star Trek The Next Generation was still on people's minds. And it wasn't like, again, it's not a well-regarded movie. I like it, but no one ever says, ooh, Star Trek Generations, it's well-directed. So I am surprised that Secret Hideout did not learn from that mistake made by the classic era, but again, we're talking about Secret Hideout, so they don't know anything about the classic era. And why would they go, especially considering this was not a quick turnaround movie? This was years in the making. They could have got a
6
better
years.
director. They could have got a better director. Someone who actually would have given it some, I don't know, gravitas or something. Maybe a link to the past. Get Frakes to direct it. He's done a bunch of Discovery and Strange New Worlds. So why not get Frakes to do it? It would actually, getting
Oh, yeah, he
Jonathan
would've.
Frakes and Michelle Yeoh together, maybe that would have been a little bit more interesting. And I'm just saying as a possibility, but they didn't even learn from the first time they fucked this up.
But it's not good even when Frakes is directing it. So I don't know.
No, I know,
I
but
don't
I'm
know
just-
how much would have it improved. I think we'd still be sitting in the same boat because we have teleplays by people who make procedural television. Craig Sweeney
Sure.
does that. He does drama, and he did one other sci-fi, but the other two ladies worked on some TV show that's about a little boy who is half reindeer or something, and that's about it.
What? Animorph?
Sweet Tooth or something. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I asked the question, and as soon as I got to the end of that question, I was like, I don't care. Why did I ask?
it's
Reindeer boy.
It's nothing. It's they wrote Reindeer Boy, and then they made this basically, and then they I think they worked something on Discovery. It's just all Filth creating.
Again,
all they need.
Hollywood hires young people.
Okay, but maybe hire young people who are talented.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But even, there are plenty of talented young people. And when I say young, I mean, because I'm, late 40s. I'm looking at it and being like, hire a 30-year-old, a mature 30-year-old to tell these stories. Not like someone who's actually invested in the franchise. I don't understand what their aversion to the franchise is.
Yeah, they don't want. Kurtzman Trek has never wanted to make Star Trek. He's just been told to by, I guess, maybe by other producers and other investors are like, this isn't working, not making Star Trek. So try to make Star Trek, and they did, but they still couldn't.
Well, and I made a joke.
They tried.
I made a joke the other night. This is my least favorite Fast and the Furious sequel. I've heard people compare it to the Suicide Squad or Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's very much like it's not as good as The Adventures of Pluto Nash. So, like, it is derivative on so many levels. They rip off Men in Black. Like, they rip off everything except Star Trek. It's hilarious.
They do. They absolutely do.
And by hilarious, I mean pitiable, shake my head situation.
It's even before we watch the movie and we see the trailer, they showcase one of Kurtzman's favorite things to do, which is to have people eating eyeballs, or at least this character who likes to eat eyeballs. And she just continues to do that. And why are we going to like this character? I don't understand why cannibalism is a thing.
Well, that, Jill, you don't.
Anybody wants to celebrate.
You're not obviously, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory nature, but you're not up to date with all the stuff that's gone on with Philippa Georgiou. How much do you know about the character? I'm not up to date, but I think I have a better sense than you do.
Goodness gosh, girlie, I quit Star Trek Discovery after season 2, after they did like some stuff with the Mirror Universe with her and Lorca. And the artificial intelligence who was in control of Section 31, or the Star Trek Discovery's version of Section 31, and they had to destroy him because he was gonna destroy everything. Because that's the only plot line Kurtzman Trek can do is everything's gonna be destroyed, everything's gonna be annihilated, and that's just the only thing they can do. And they didn't understand. The main thing I remember from that season is that they didn't understand how light travels through space and you can't see all of the beacons at once and whatever. I'm not going to get.
Yeah, I don't want to review that.
But I don't remember what did you actually want to talk about the backstory of like?
Well, no, I just want to know what you know about her.
All I know about her is that she's from the Disco Mirror Universe and she's the emperor of the Terran Empire, which was they want us to believe it's the one that Mirror Spock developed, but not, I can't see that.
I don't either.
But anyway, she's the emperor, empress, or whatever she is, and she eats people. She eats Kelpians for dinner, and there's some Klingon stuff, and I don't remember.
She
exactly
blew up the Klingon homeworld. She is a person who is actively like genocided.
Yeah, she's genocidal. She's
she's a
the main thing that
genocidal
I know.
maniac. They talk about her in those terms. We've seen her eat eyeballs. If you've seen Discovery, which I assume that some people have, because they kept making it for 5 seasons. But
And if you want to talk more about her backstory, that's all you. While I see what I can get from the chat.
yeah, for sure. But like, she has eaten sentient individuals for fun. She killed her entire family, and for some reason, we're supposed to. This is a redemption story from one of the quotes from the director, and it's like she's irredeemable. She makes Khan look like a roommate.
Yeah, that he's understandable now. Like, oh man, he could be my friend now compared to
Well,
this.
no, because
Definitely.
that's what they'll do next.
I actually a long time ago, Nicholas Meyer apparently made a script that is supposed to be a prequel kind of thing. That would have been that could have been probably in the right hands. Might have been a fun thing.
Yes,
but do you notice how many times we haven't even started talking about the movie yet? How many times we're straying off topic as much as possible?
because we want to talk about Star Trek. This movie doesn't, or this television special doesn't.
And Gorilla says, "Did Jill just say she wants to watch porn?" I'm gonna clip that. Okay, have fun, Gorilla. Greek Letters Larson says, "You're not a proper Trekkie unless you have watched all Star Trek movies." Yeah, get right on that.
Well, you still have to. You have to have some awareness of it. Like, it's one of those things. It's again, late 40s. I grew up where I had to defend a lot, and so I am precious with Star Trek, and so I do think that you not see all of it, but you better be passing. Like, I want the contemporaries to know what they're talking about.
Oh, he was talking. They're still talking about the This Ain't Star Trek film.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And if you haven't seen it all, then you should go see. Let's watch 2 minutes of This Ain't Star Trek.
Yeah, but then I have to watch all the fan films too. So, but I've only
that's a tall order, and we already did continues.
Yeah, I did the best one. Sid Waldison says, "I don't know how movies theaters stay in business now." Concurring with Scotty's about no more movies. Mm-hmm.
I try. I live in a weird market. So there have been movies that I want to see, and so, but they're not, and I have to drive like 40 minutes to go get to the good theater, 16 minutes to get to the local theater, but it never plays anything good.
Mark Harkness says, STD spinoffs? So Section 31 is herpes?
Yep.
Oh, well, space herpes, yeah.
No,
Frank
what is
Walker.
it? When you get after like you get syphilis, does your nose fall off?
I don't know.
Neither do I. I don't know anybody with syphilis. Okay, so
I
never
don't
mind.
think so.
So yes, STD.
I've never seen anyone with their nose falling off. Let's see. What pissed me off about Generations was the destruction of the Enterprise. Yeah, me too. Well, it's all the deaths. They kill Robert. They kill the brother and his son, the nephew, off screen. They kill so many people off screen. Lorda and B'Etor. They kill a few people on a space station, and we don't even care. Nobody cares. And then, of course, the worst thing is that they do is they kill Captain Kirk under a bridge instead of on it.
Well, it's a movie about mourning.
Yep.
And so I'm a fan.
I was a lifeguard at Admiral Teague's watch party, says Mark Harkness. Great. What pissed me off is that after the opening sequence, none of the film, including the destruction of the Enterprise, had no weight. Yeah, right. I agree.
I don't, but that's okay.
I
Different
know,
strokes to
that's
move the
okay.
world.
Oh yeah, and Greek letter says that Michelle Yeoh is talented. She is. She's talented.
Yeah.
She just won an award, but this isn't a good. This wasn't. No matter how a talented actress who knows what she's doing when well directed is not going to shine through when she doesn't have good direction or a good script, and or a good choreography or anything good. So poor
Well, and
lady. She wanted to inspire girls and stuff, but this was
by
not the
eating
way.
people and killing millions and
Yeah,
billions,
exactly. Why
and
did she think this was a good character?
I just want to be a good role model. Okay, thanks, Space Mussolini. Not even Space Stalin. Anyway, I find Michelle Yeoh to be a charisma vacuum. I've never found her all that interesting as an actor. And even I think the best thing that I've ever seen her in was Tomorrow Never Dies, the Pierce Brosnan and James Bond movie. And even then, I was like, I guess if Terry Hatcher's dead, then we're with you. So I've never really been a fan of her. I'm sure that she's lovely. Yeah, she won an Oscar, but if there is something with Michelle Yeoh in it, I don't care. I don't care.
Mark Harkness corrects me because I called her Empress. Giorgio is Emperor. Unlike Star Trek, Enterprise's Mira Hoshi Sato, who took power like a boss and isn't afraid of the word Empress. Yeah, that's
Well,
the only Empress of the Terran Empire that I
totally agree.
recognize.
And that's the thing, is that they start off this movie with this stupid tournament between the children to see who's going to be the next emperor. And it's like, that is not how the mirror universe would ever in a million years work. Ever. Like, it
Yeah,
would
right.
be ascension through assassination. And assassinating the emperor, that's political machinations behind the scenes. That's like, this is even more brutal than the Romulan Empire kind of thing that's going on in the Terran Empire. And so when they
Well,
do
yeah.
stuff like this, it would be someone who was a close confidant who had double crossed Emperor Pike or whatever you wanted to do. But it's not, and people keep throwing around Hunger Games, and it's apt. It is completely accurate. But they would not do that, not based on everything that we have seen, not just through the original series, but also through Deep Space Nine and Enterprise. It doesn't make any sense.
But it doesn't make any sense even through the context of the Hunger Games, because the Hunger Games were a means to control the population, to say you can't rise up anymore. You've got to stay under our thumb, and we're gonna kill your children right in front of you and make them fight each other to the death to show you that you can never fight us back. And that this has nothing to do with that. This is the Terran Empire collecting Terran children against their will to fight to become the emperor. So whoever's emperor didn't even want to be emperor to begin with. They were just not wanting to die.
Like,
and how does that make a good emperor at all?
Even if you were going to have a child emperor, why wouldn't it be it would be related somewhere in bloodline, right? And then some other Terran would be like, well, I'm going to kill this 12-year-old. It should be easy. But also,
it's supposed
again,
to be dynasty.
like,
you're supposed to be operating through dynasties.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and behind the scenes there would be like, you can't kill him because I have a vested interest in it. And so people who hate each other are going to be trying to make sure that they survive in this power vacuum. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have this game show.
Yeah, right. And it is Hunger Games. I know some people are saying Battle Royale, but I don't think they're aware. I don't think they've seen Battle Royale, because
Battle Royale's punishment. Battle Royale is not a game.
No, it's not. It's this was a game. Hunger Games was a game, and it did end with two contestants who had like a romance during it. There was a and so they're copying the romance of Katniss Everdeen and Peeta. And Peeta was his name. He was the son of a baker. And we actually cared.
I really
about
don't care, Jill.
because it's
the Hunger
I know
Games.
You don't care. I know you don't care.
I'm sorry. Other people in the chat may. It's not all
It's my
about me.
version. I know it's my version of Twilight, so I mean, it's
Yeah, no, fair
whatever.
enough. Fair enough.
But it's better. It's better than
Sorry
it's
for
still better
yelling.
than Twilight. But no, that's right. Who can we who can win a fight to survive isn't a good way to pick a leader, but I guess that's proven when she becomes a genocidal maniac and everything. So
Well, but
I
I
don't know.
can't let this go. Who would promote a child to have the power to kill you? So everybody who is there, they're like, okay, you're the empress or emperor now. And she just starts killing everybody.
Well, and she starts off by, well, I can't have any ties to my past, and so that means she has to kill her entire family.
Well, that
Well,
was the test.
including the little boy, because Kurtzman Trek loves to kill children, and
What other
I don't know.
children did he
Kurtzman has
kill?
yeah, but
What
no,
other?
he literally wants that to happen. Like you'd say it as a joke.
No, but I'm just curious. What other children did he kill?
That
Like, I mean, in characters.
oh, you mean in well, Ichib was older, but I consider him still a child. Like,
No,
but
that was an adult human
I know,
or
as an adult. I know as
adult,
an
whatever
adult, but every
species each of
Star
us.
Trek fan sees Ichib as 12 years old. I don't care.
Well, I'm never going to be
But
able to watch
also
Interview with a Vampire
literal.
again. Thanks, Kirsten Dunst.
Sorry, but no, there was a baby. There was a baby killed in Discovery. I forget which one. There was like
That
a
makes
Klingon
sense.
baby that was murdered.
That makes
Um,
sense. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just looking for
there's child
specifics if you're
murder.
going to make an assertion.
But she's a psychopath who cares for no one, so not even her whole family. So her actually going through with it makes sense.
Can't wait to see her redeemed.
Yeah, but yeah, how is that? When you start like that, how is that something that is a redemption story?
Yeah, no, it's impossible. And that's the thing.
So
Like, even thematically, it is resting so much on the perceived gravitas and charisma of Michelle Yeoh. And as we continue through, not
but
much.
I think the intention of that to kill her family was that the evil didn't start within her. It started with the Terran Empire, and they made her kill her family. But nobody can force you to kill your family. She could have given them like a sleeping draught or something, or said, I'm supposed to kill you guys. You guys have to pretend to be dead or something, and I don't know. And
oh yeah, wait, no, because this poison comes up again later. And it
yeah, it
has some
does.
stupid Princess Bride logic behind it. Yes,
I never watched Princess Bride.
I've seen it a couple times. I don't like it. But the thing is, and actually the part that I do like is at the very beginning, and it does have this whole thing where I think it's Wesley is offered to drink poison, and he had been taking small doses of that poison to make himself immune to it. And they do reference that in this. And it's like, oh, San's the villain. He's as bland as a rice cracker. And I like rice crackers. He's Melba toast. And and so he's been taking small doses of the poison so that it would look like he had killed himself, but no, he didn't. And also, the Emperor Georgiou can recognize that poison from the vomit. She's a forensic expert. She's Quincy.
Yeah. No, she knows everything. No, that's the thing you don't understand about
Philippa?
female characters in Utrecht is, when they're girl bossing them, they know absolutely everything all of the time. And
you took the same poison from 40 years ago.
My point that I was saying earlier that I didn't get to finish, I didn't get to finish something, so I have to kind of repeat myself.
Sorry.
So it's okay. It's okay. You were excited, and I wanted you to say what you wanted to say. But this movie is trying to say, okay, so say that Philippa is evil because the Terran Empire made her, but nobody can make you do that. But what I wanted to say after that was that, so this contrasts with other murdering empires like The Godfather, where in family life and connections are paramount to a healthy empire, but to compare it to Star Trek, actual Star Trek, Klingons are so proud of family that they include their father's name whenever they introduce themselves. But there's nothing of that here. You'd have to have honor for that. So they've made the Terran Empire not have any honor. So basically, if I'm allowed to have Star Trek analogies for this non-Star Trek show, Philippa is essentially being trained to be like the Terran Empire are essentially Jem'Hadar.
Ooh.
And that is, I think that's what I think there. So let me make sure that I don't say these notes again. So
You're just gonna put a check mark beside him.
yeah. No, I wanted to jump around and make sure that.
Oh, make sure. This is your ship, Captain. And speaking of which,
Yeah.
like the end of this scene makes no sense to me. Because so Philippa comes home, poisons her family, they all die. She walks out, someone beams down and says, "Oh, you killed your family. Guess what? You win." Because the other guy wouldn't. He wouldn't kill his family. And but you get him as a slave. And so she has a sword and she presses it.
Peeta is now Katniss's slave, yes.
Yeah. And not yet. Don't show that symbol. I hate the fact that gets to be shown in this television special. So anyway, she rubs a red hot sword on the bad guy's face. We'll find out he's the bad guy later. And sorry, spoilers. And and so now
you can't spoil this. This is garbage already. You can.
It is garbage already. It's already spoiled. Yes, good point. And yes. And apparently they had been best friends throughout the competition. They were helping each other out. Actually, the competition that they reference sounds a little bit more interesting. If they had actually made a mirror universe television special instead, then it might have been better. Because we start off in the mirror universe, and then we have to contend with not Section 31 because it's not Section 31.
No.
And so anyway, her best friend, who is also her boyfriend, is now her slave, which, fine. Anyway, so there's this giant ship that comes down, and it's the fanfare from Star Trek First Contact when the Borg are revealed, except it's missing the last note. So it's very different and creative. Anyway, dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds of troops in formation, like stormtroopers, are all beamed down so that they can see the coronation of the Emperor. And they do. And then I guess they all just beam back up. And it has been said that part of the reason why the Terran Empire is so very, very desperate and evil is not only because of the ideology of the human race, but also because of a lack of resources. And nothing screams to me conserving resources beaming hundreds and hundreds of people to the surface with no reason when, there's no reason.
Oh, are we to that idea already that in their entire empire, all of their resources are dwindled, which is another crazy.
Did you see this hut with this stupid windmill?
Yeah, right. And they're actually talking about making swords, and they do use actual anvils. There's no replicators, but there are transporters. Similar technology.
Yeah, but this is also early 23rd century. Like this is probably around 2212 or something when Philippa Georgiou was born. Like it's early. It's in the early.
Okay, there's no replicators in yet.
They're still on food synthesizers or whatever they do. But I
get mixed up with time because we haven't even started to talk about the fact that there's no way that Philippa Georgiou could be in the next generation timeline.
Yes, there is.
She travels backwards in time.
She does.
The stupid, dumbass Star Trek Discovery went forwards in the future 900 years or so. I forget how much. And then comes back. She has to come back to. So this is a malleable bullshit timeline. I allow for malleable timelines when it's from before the year 2000, but when it's in this century, it's
has no one told you the tale of Carl?
I never saw that one where they do the Guardian of Forever.
Yes,
and they try to do it the way Harlan Ellison wrote it, but probably not. I think Harlan Ellison is probably glad he's not here to see it.
Didn't feel like the Harlan Ellison version. Didn't feel like much of anything. It was basically Anyway, so Philippa goes back to the mirror universe in the past and sees
Mhm.
what would have happened. Anyway, something happens. And
Mhm.
then she resolves
Yeah.
it, and she sort of has her redemption moment in the show, in Discovery, where she like realizes that you can't eat people, and we're just supposed to forgive her of her past transgressions. And then she comes back to Carl in the future with Mikey Burnham, and then but they say, okay, now you have to go back in time because you're out of sync with the mirror universe's time code, and so if you stay in the future where the Discovery was, then you're going to die. So you have to go back in time. And so apparently she just jumps through Carl's time hole and
What the shit? Time
well, it's
code.
the
What?
Guardian of Forever. It's the Guardian of Forever, but I'm going
Yes,
to
I
call it the
know.
Time Hole because it's not actually the Guardian of Forever. Because f all
Right.
that noise, Silent Bob. And so she jumps through the time hole, and apparently
Oh,
she
good for you to
jumped
say that.
into post TNG, post Dominion War time.
Is
That's
that
the
is
best
that
we have.
is that actually in that episode that she goes to the
Well, no,
time
it's just
before
that she goes
next
back in
generation?
time. We don't know where she goes.
And this tells us where she went. Ah,
Apparently,
where? Well, I
supposedly.
think at one point you were making "Where in the world is Carmen San Diego" jokes. I think that's what
No,
I
no,
didn't know.
that was an accurate, that was to the best of my ability, the description of what happened to Philippa Georgiou in terms of being sent to the 30th century and then being sent back in time via Carl's time hole.
You know more than I do because I did
Well,
not watch
I'm
that
just
show.
trying to tell a
Thank
story.
you.
It's not a good story.
I, no, it's not. But thank you anyway. But also in this scene, there was that big ass ship that you said shot out all these soldiers at record transporting speeds. It's kind of like, man, this ship doesn't land like a normal fucking ship. Why is it tipped first? Why is just I don't know. Anyway,
Well, no, but this is something that modern uh, sci-fi people, television people, like I used to think it was cool. And even your typical background, seeing the Enterprise or a Star Destroyer or something in the atmosphere, but it doesn't make sense to bring it down. So, like, I guess a show of force or something, and to go tip down, it doesn't matter. Artificial gravity means that there's twisting and turning all over the place anyway. But it just doesn't, like, just stay in orbit. There's no reason for you to be like, unless it's a show of force, which
yeah,
it
it's a
makes sense
show
for the
of
Terran
hey,
Empire.
we know how to
So,
waste money.
well, no, but also we want to see the
Ugh,
spaceship in the atmosphere, but we've made rules
why?
to say don't. Like, please,
Mhm.
it's not designed to be this. You can't put the Enterprise underwater. Stop it. Get some help.
Oh yeah, well Voyager, yeah.
Well, not Voyager. I'm thinking of Star Trek Into Darkness. But Voyager
Oh,
was
I think Voyager
designed to
did.
land. That was one of the, that was, like, it has
Oh
those
yeah, I forgot
flippy
about that.
floppy nacelles for no reason, just they look cool.
Yes, yeah.
I'm very passionate about this.
Oh,
I'm
and
so
she
happy
gets
to
a
be talking
cape.
about Star Trek.
Anyway, she dumps her boyfriend and scars him in the face, and then
Scowls on the face.
and that's okay. So let's get back to the chat for just a minute
Sure.
because that was good. We got past we at least got past
First scene.
the backstory, if you want to call it that.
Welcome back, Franco.
Yeah. She was Empress on Discovery before Kirk was captain, yet this is set after Star Trek 6, Undiscovered Country, how all the bullshit time travel stuff that Scotty just said.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Syphilis is madness.
not your, not that anything you say, it's just the story from Discovery is. Girl has censored thought says, how far is 40 minutes? Because around here, depending on what roads I can go, 100 miles is 40 minutes. It depends on how fast you're going. We need to know miles per hour. Are you speeding down the highway at 90 miles per hour or going 50 miles per hour? I don't know. I need
Like,
acceleration.
I'm basing my time frame of getting there in terms of not getting pulled over and not dying. So 40 minutes. Like, it's not a matter of speed because I don't want to get pulled
Okay.
over and I don't want to die. If that answers your question. What's on the screen?
Oh,
What's
actually,
this?
I can determine. I can determine your acceleration. Hold on, give me a second.
Okay, calm down, Dr. Zayas. We don't need to do this right now. I know where the theater is, and I know how long it takes to get there. You're not going to maximize it.
No, but it's easy.
Okay, fine.
It's
If it were a straight line and I just yeah. Let's see. How
velocity
far is it?
times
And
time.
don't forget to do it in
Because
kilometers per hour and kilometers.
you gave me distance. Distance is 100 miles equals velocity times 40 minutes.
I love it when you do
48
math. I'm just going to go to the washroom. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. No, I don't want to talk about this movie. Okay, so it's just 100 divided by 40. Velocity. So velocity is 2.5 miles per. Okay, so then I'm sorry, I got muted while I was doing math. I'm sorry, guys. So we had 2.5 miles per minute, and if we convert that to miles per hour, you would be going 150 miles per hour. So Gorilla, I do not believe that you can achieve the velocity necessary to make 100 miles in 40 minutes. So no, sorry, Gorilla. And I'm sorry that I got so off topic. I even made Scotty leave because I got it way off topic, but I'm prone to derailment today. Okay. Oh, cocaine makes your nose fall off. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the information. I didn't know about that. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. Because you're injecting something in your nose. And
injecting?
Snorting, whatever
That's
the druggies do.
I don't know. Actually, I do.
We went off for 40 minutes last night on that guy Sharon in this episode when they're all supposed to be dead, Jim.
Sharon, I don't know. Sharon. No, remember the black and white guy?
Oh, right. Oh, okay, yes, right. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was telling Scotty is that that they all killed themselves. And Scotty said there may be enough of them flying around in the universe that they didn't all get wiped out. But I think that's highly unlikely. I think that's highly unlikely because how many women were out there? Like you need both genders to be flying around outside.
Well, no, that's what. Look at denobulins.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of procreation rules in Star Trek. You don't necessarily need a man and a woman unless you're Terran. And I mean from Earth.
Canadian Spider-Man says, I just found it completely ridiculous that a woman would rise to power in such a brutal world since brutality is a masculine trait. It lacks realism and is unsurmountable. Physical strength rules all, but Hoshi is Empress. That totally worked too. The way she was like kind of like, you think, oh, she's just Captain's woman, but she becomes Empress, and I think that's awesome. No, I think it's how you do it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is the aspiration to power and control is the primary drive of people from the mirror universe. And so it is a matter of the relationships that you build and the tools that you have. Don't forget the Tantalus field and then also the Defiant from the Tholian web that was thrown into the mirror universe in that unstable region of space. Like, so there are ways that ladies can rise to power.
Yes, as Mark Harkness says, Catherine the Great, Cleopatra. They have been fairly ruthless female rulers, and there's more than that too. But okay, I think what Canadian Spider-Man is saying is just straight brute force method, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Canadian Spider-Man says a dude would take control of the Enterprise from under Hoshi. Well, you go ahead and try, Spidey. I want to see you. The dead man says, I hate that. speak like modern day teenagers or 20 somethings, like when they interrogate that guy and he says, "What the shit?" Well, yeah, no,
Yep.
that's littered. That's absolutely this entire movie. There is no attempt. The dialogue is like it was written by a D student
Oh
eighth
yeah.
grader.
Oh no, this is like the dialogue in this is sometimes worse than an Archie comic.
Mhm. I didn't read Archie, so like I
Oh,
can't.
well, it was better than this.
I bet it was more fun. I bet it was actually funny.
Well,
Oh,
Canadian
and
Spider-Man says, "What, MacGyver? You love MacGyver. He was on Stargate."
yeah, MacGyver. Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson's awesome. He is not in this piece of shit.
Yep.
Good for him. And oh yeah, except that it's confusing because we're given Rachel Garrett, so we ought to be in the 2320s. Yes, we are, and we did just explain that too, which is it's so totally stupid.
Yeah, Rachel Garrett. Well, first things first, I'm super excited to talk about yesterday's Enterprise when I actually get to see Rachel Garrett. Because this
Yeah,
was,
well, the real one.
yeah, this
Who is
was,
this?
there was no, sorry, Kevin Leung says, Sam didn't time travel, so how is he young when they meet? He should be over 100 in that timeline then. Yep. That is a very
Yes.
big plot hole in terms of what's been going
Yes.
on. And
Thank
even
you.
before I saw the movie or the television special, I was like, people were saying, "Oh, the villain is a contemporary of Georgiou," but this doesn't make sense. If she did time travel, then what happened to that guy? And so, yeah, no, but we don't really have to think about logic or continuity when it
Yeah,
comes
that's
to
in
this
my
film
notes.
or
That's in
this
my notes
television
too.
special.
So I'm so glad you got that out of the way for me, Kevin Long, because I didn't want to talk about it, and and we got it out of the way now because it doesn't make any sense why he's there. Why anybody who was alive during her reign is there, unless they're like, you know, unless they live hundreds and hundreds of years, some weird species like that. DJ Knight says, "Hi, Jill. Hi,
Hey,
hey,
DJ
DJ Knight. Math." All right. Well, no, I had fun. Jill hates this movie so bad she'd rather do math on my example asking for distance.
Yes.
Yeah. So Gorilla, please don't drive at 150 miles per hour.
Oh, was that how fast you had to go?
Yeah, that's how fast you had to go to.
Yeah, I'm
to
not doing that.
go.
And that's like
To go.
200. That's 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
That's
to
faster
go,
than time travel.
to make 100 miles in 40 minutes. Yeah. We had my boss charge up to 190. Charger. What? Okay. I don't know what that means. How much do I love maths? Lots and lots. But, you know, especially when it helps me not watch this Section 31. And Ryo's here. Hi, Ryo. And thank you for subscribing. Melanie Jean Mayfield. Robots in disguise. Most fans of all generations, Star Trek, me included, agree on how disastrous Section 31 is. Thank you so much for being here today, Johnny. It is such a disgrace, isn't it?
Well, not only that, but Donnie, you are one of the most optimistic and positive people when it comes to any intellectual property, franchise, what have you. There are people who don't like it but enjoy what you enjoy, and I know that you come to this that statement, that chat in terms of a place of goodwill. It's like you and I both went into it being like, surprise me, be good.
I know. Just because I hate all of Kurtzman Trek doesn't mean I couldn't be surprised. If they suddenly make something good, I would say it.
And that's all I would hope, because it does take different strokes to move the world. And if your tastes are different and it's not good, then it's not good. But like I went into this being like, please, and then they were like, nah.
But you're right. Donnie is one of the most positive people out there and gives everything a fair shake. And yeah, this nobody likes this thing. Kevin Lung says the Skydance merger, if they kick out Kurtzman, will make Legacy impossible. No, I'm okay with that. I'm not the
It's over.
Star Trek Picard season 3, as the characters credited by him aren't canon. That not that Raffi is a lost Jack. a big loss would be no Lower Decks future,
But that's
according
already
to
over,
Kevin Long. But
Kevin.
I'm okay with that too. Yeah, yeah, the cartoon's over.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm gonna
It's a
get the box
SNL.
set. I'm gonna get the box set of Lower
I
Decks.
am not going to get the box set.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother live stream. That's a whole
True.
nother live
True.
stream. There's a whole. I have my own problems with Lower Decks, but maybe we'll talk about it as soon as Kurtzman is out. As soon as Kurtzman's Secret Hideout is gone, I'm free to talk about all the Kurtzman Trek because I won't be advertising for something that no longer exists anymore.
There you go.
I mean, it's something that exists, but they won't be making money off of it. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe they will, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Gorilla's Censored Thought says, Spidey, you have
Tor reprogram the computer and remove a couple things.
You have the Alan Rickman angel gift. Just noticed you. Apparently, he's judging us for reviewing this.
Yes,
but we're not really reviewing the movie. We're just kind of talking. We did review the first opening act. I don't know how. Not a
well,
movie.
we do. We gotta show the characters. We should go to the actually. You know what? Before we get to the characters, let's go to something important. Can you show me the? Can you show me the picture of the map?
Yes, that is exactly where we are anyway. So hold on. Let me get my notes up first before we get to that. Because
exciting world viewpoint says hi, all Trekkies. Welcome.
Oh, hi, exciting world viewpoints. I've never watched the new movie. Anyone here watch Section 31? Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. And we're going to be talking about the map that they show because there's no Star Trek in this, but there's a Federation map that they have that they draw all over. And
they draw, and it's even out of place. Also, and I was gonna get pissy about the redactions, but the redactions were actually kind of cool. All right, so.
Well, the redactions was just to cover up the fact that it gets into bad grammar at the end of it because I actually was.
Oh, you did look at it?
I was actually meticulously watching this thing at the very beginning before I was like, "Fuck this," and just sped through it. But yes, I did. And so the last sentence is grammatically incorrect and doesn't make sense. And so that's probably why they just covered it up. But it just happened to impress you somehow.
No, it does. So Federation border crossing is banned, but there are 2 Federation star bases.
Okay.
On the outside of that border.
Okay, but before we even talk about it, the Federation can't cross the border because of the Treaty of Catan, which is a thing that existed in real Star Trek in Star Trek Enterprise. But they didn't. But that episode didn't define what the agreements were. It was just an offshot, like, oh, I was just doing treaty negotiations, and oh, aren't you awesome for that? And they were actually having a whole other episode about something else. So since they didn't define what that treaty was, New Trek took this undefined treaty and made it. You can't pass this because this was never a thing. The only place you can't pass, the only place Federation can't go into willy-nilly is the neutral zone. So this is a completely new thing.
Oh, but
there's like some contention stuff with Cardassian stuff, whatever.
Cardassia is a big one.
You can make some arguments here and there where there's some tensions, but this is something that was completely undefined. So New Trek saw the opportunity to just say Federation can't go past here, but they put star bases 11 and 17 outside of Federation space. And not just that, then of course we've also got the biggest thing is Trill. The biggest
Oh yeah.
And by this point, Dax has been in Starfleet forever now. And so she can't go home. Or he can't go home right now. I don't know.
Emily was judging a gymnastics competition on Earth when she met McCoy. So Trill would have to be. Yeah. See, I didn't get to see this map. I didn't get to see all the things. Like I'm looking
it's
at
funny.
Alcor and Mizar, I feel like I remember, but again, the demilitarized zone, like Chintaka, like all of these, they're trying, but they're not necessarily the Badlands way over there. So Cardassia Prime, where's Bajor? Is Bajor even Like,
did they just stuff everything close together? Like, oh, here are names people know.
yeah, but also like even before that, like if you zoom out, and I don't think you can, but
No,
they
I
put
can't. No.
it's fine, that's fine. They put the Romulan Empire as being like it would be slightly top right, but I always thought that the Klingon Empire was top right and the Romulans were below. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different. I could be mistaken. Anyway, it's interesting to see what. Hang on a sec. Oh, I thought that said Alderaan. It says Alder Baron. I thought they were mixing up their peas and
Anyway,
carrots. Although they've done,
anyway,
there have been references.
anyway, somebody just said, "Give me some Federation map," and then somebody said, "Okay, fine. Okay, this is the border of the Federation. I'm just going to draw with my little tool an orange line, zigzaggy
Hmm.
right here, and
Hmm.
that's it. That's all they did."
Look, there's the Argus array from the Nth Degree. It's at the bottom,
Yeah, yeah,
bottom
yeah.
right.
Well, I
No, but
hope you
come on.
enjoyed that because this is the most Star Trek you're going to
This is the
get.
most
Is
Star
this
Trek
one
that there
in?
is. There's Pollux. Corridon. Oh my stars. What a great. You know what? It's just nice to see something that kind of pretends to
Oh
be
my
Star
God,
Trek.
you're such a member berry. Like, um,
Yes.
you're
For
that's why you
yes.
like Lower Decks.
Yes. I like flashing light
It's
and a,
absolutely
a
sickening, but
lifetime of paying attention to this shit. I would like that to pay off somewhat. And but come on, like they try with Discovery or they try with Strange New Worlds, and when they do it, they get it wrong to the point where it's like, well, you guys are supposed to know what you're doing. But when I watch Lower Decks, it's like, that's fine. You're a
but
cartoon.
okay, but they
You're
already
fun.
yeah. Lower Decks doesn't get it right either, but they know they're not getting it right, and they make fun of themselves, but they also make fun of Star Trek, and it's so schizophrenic. I can't enjoy it.
Well, and
It
again, like I'm not advertising for it. I'm saying it's my personal preference. But yeah, no, I get it. And
yeah.
yeah, I am a member berries guy because quite frankly, being a member berries guy was part of being a Star Trek fan up until 2005. In fact,
Well, no.
it's part of the reason why people are upset at New Trek is because it's like you're not doing it right. Why? Because I remember it the way that it was designed and you're not following the instructions. You're just making new shit that shouldn't work and it doesn't work. So why are you doing it? And that's all member berries is. My member berries are sweet. Other people's member berries are like, I don't like this because you're doing it wrong.
Well, okay, so but there's a difference between memory berries and references. So good Star Trek
Is there?
will do references. Yeah, they'll do references. A member berry is just yeah, there might be some in the past, but they're just in the background, just as decoration. But
Hmm.
most of the time when you bring up the past, it's a reference and it's something to do with the plot that is actually important. And in New Trek, they don't bother with that. It's just, oh, remember Andorians? Here's one having sex with a fish. And that happens in this movie.
Yes, that's true. That is true. But it's like I do understand what you mean in terms of references because they are historically important to the conversation that are going on. I'm thinking of the one with Berlinghoff Rasmussen. I forget the name of the episode right now. It's the one with Matt Frewer, and he's the time traveler from New Jersey. And he shows up, and then Picard, and they're trying to rescue a planet. And Picard says, "I understand. What if I save this planet and it wasn't supposed to be saved?" And the one of the survivors ends up being the next Adolf Hitler or the next Khan Singh. And it's like they just throw away a Khan reference, and it's like that was a good like historical touchstone. And it's great to know that there is a world larger. And because you've been watching for so long, it pays off. And with this stuff, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to reference it, but not know anything about it.
Yeah. And that's what happens. That's exactly what happens is people who don't know what Star Trek is trying to make Star Trek. And that's
Yeah,
just what's been going on for the past several
that's our
years.
review of Section 31. Good night, everybody.
See you later. It's so good to talk to you. Mark Harkness says Section 31 was doomed by being linked to STD. Well, yeah, little secret. Every single new Trek is linked to STD.
Mhm.
It was to quote Task from Diane Duane's The Romulan Way, beginnings must be kept pure. You have tainted the foundation, and no good will avail you of it. Ooh, that's a great, intelligent quote. I like that. Diane Duane. That she wrote the Spock's World too, right?
Oh yeah. Hang on. Can you star that, Mark Harkness?
Yes. No, it was really good for my soul to read something good.
Yeah, but I just
Or
want to. Oh no,
it'll
absolutely. Any Diane Duane. If you want to learn about Vulcans, you can totally learn about Vulcans
and
through Diane
Romulans.
Duane and Romulans for sure. Well, shared ancestry. Exciting World Viewpoints says.
I'm not
No,
getting
wait,
through
wait,
this
wait,
whole
wait,
movie.
wait.
I don't give a
Exciting
shit.
World's Viewpoint says, didn't mean to break any rules. You didn't. You can't. It's okay.
Who broke a rule?
I
You
don't
didn't break
know.
any
I don't
rules.
know what happened, but I just wanted to say exciting world
Oh,
viewpoints.
I'm sorry.
You're cool. You're fine. I
I'm
didn't even
sorry.
see what you did.
I don't know what Exciting World Viewpoints did. Were you doing something? I'm sorry if I missed your chat. I don't know what. Hi, all just tuning in now. Hi, all Trekkies, and didn't watch it. I don't know.
Jill, can you tell us the weather in the Federation?
Um,
Just go back to the map and say, oh, well, Cardassia Prime is going to be overcast with a chance of
ion
genocide.
storms.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. The Badlands, notoriously bad.
Exciting World Viewpoint says, do you all think, maybe in keeping with Star Trek's dignity, it's best for the franchise to have a series finale? Like just Kurtzman Trek say, okay, we know we killed it, and here's an episode saying this is the end of all Star Trek forever and ever. I don't know. That would be really funny.
Yeah, like even no, I don't know.
Wouldn't this be it? This isn't Star Trek. And this is what they're giving us now. This is as much Star Trek as if they just put up an episode of My Little Pony or something.
Oh. Like I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want it. I think it's dead now. But Spock's been dead before. So like I just want it to go away for a while. Like I just want it to go away. I just want.
For me,
I don't want lower or Starfleet Academy, but they're going to give us Starfleet Academy. They just recently had like a cast thing, and they're bringing out Robert Picardo, and showing the Toronto set, and being all excited about the fact that it's coming out. So there is more coming to television near you, but like.
Yes, I know, Mark. Trill can't be outside the Federation because, well, I mean, Trill is in the Alpha Quadrant. Yeah, they're totally a part of the game. This map is bogus. Please don't learn anything from it.
No. And there have been better Star Trek maps. There are fans with YouTube maps. Their TV Guide has a better map. I remember I had the whatever anniversary when Star Trek: The Next Generation ended and Generations was starting, I think.
I could give my daughter some crayons and she could make a better map.
Yeah. Like there have been better maps of the galaxy.
And so can I put a link in here or is that against the rules? Link for what? What do you want to link?
Is it going to be that Star Trek porno?
I don't generally just I know there are some channels that like to give out wrenches like candy, but that's not my jam.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Oh, did I actually give you a wrench? What's going on? I see a link in there. Let me bring up the chat on the. Oh my God.
No, I don't know what it is. Is it the porno?
Oh, I hope not. That's why
I kind of hope it is.
Wrench. It's just I respect channels that do that. I'm just not one of them.
Well, no, you don't need to. No, it's fine. Hang on a second. I'm trying to find.
No, that's okay. It's in the StreamYard side, but it doesn't show up on the YouTube side because only Wrench is clickable. Post.
All right. World T. Oh no, it's just Exciting World's YouTube channel.
Okay, if you want to post that in the regular chat, you can. Yeah, why not? If you got a channel you want to promote, that's fine.
See, I think we found out what they were apologizing for.
Yeah, right.
I still think it's fine.
Nitpick alert. I'm a Trekosaurus from the old generation. I
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too.
I like all the new Treks, but it took a while for me to warm up to I never did. I'm sorry to say. But you like what you like. They changed the Klingons again.
Yeah.
The ridges were explained. Yeah, yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
is like
Oh, that was bad.
like the original series movies and Next Generation sort of made Klingons iconic. I think Into Darkness did the best job of updating the look, and you could play around with that. But when it came to the Klingorks in Disco, I was just like, no. Like these villains are part of the reason why Worf was introduced to the Bridge of the Enterprise in Next Generation is because they wanted to show that past enemies could be allies. And then Discovery comes out and they're all like, inclusion, treat people like people. And then they made the Klingons look like the fuggliest monkeys in the planet or in the galaxy. And it's like, so when you say inclusion, you're just not ugly people, and then you insist that you're not ugly, and but you are on the inside, no matter how attractive you are on the outside.
And
You
it
vile,
wasn't just
vile
how
people.
it wasn't just how bad they looked either. It was just right in that first episode they have a
The way
ship.
they acted.
Well, yeah, it was the way they acted without honor, but also with their ship that was basically a funeral barge full of dead bodies, which is a thing Klingons would never do because
Never
dead
do.
bodies are what? Empty.
Well, and
So
not only that, but they're like the explosion, and then they're taking their bodies back, which they wouldn't do. And then a Starfleet
right.
captain says, attach bombs to all the bodies, which is a war crime today. And they're like, no, this is a sound tactic. So, and that's the thing, is that I don't
Ugh.
understand the difference between the Terran Empire and the actual Prime Federation or Starfleet, is because you are both vile people who are espousing your virtue without actually being virtuous. You're saying
Well,
we're allowed to be as mean as we want because we're right morally. And it's like, can you prove your moral superiority? We don't have to.
well, are we going to get into like a rabbit hole of how terrible Discovery was because they also had
I think it's gonna.
terrorists. We also had Vulcans who were terrorists, and so there's too much.
Well, and there
They
is
use the live
racism
long and
within
prosper
Discovery
thing. Oh my
because
god.
Spock is half human and he's dyslexic, which apparently is a human attribute. And so he's treated poorly, not because of his human parentage, which he was in Prime Star Trek, but also because he has a learning disorder because they wanted to introduce that.
Spock does not have dyslexia. I'm sorry. But
Like,
in Discoverse, he does for some reason,
for
and he's
some
not as good at
reason.
Vulcan as Mikey Spock, Mikey Burnham. As Doomcock likes to say, he calls her Mikey Spock.
I call her late for dinner.
It's not wrong. It's bad. It's bad.
No, it's bad. It is bad. So I think that we can just leave. We don't have to go and review
because
it.
it has Sarek loving her more for some reason. We cannot review all of STD right now.
My review of Star Trek Discovery is that it actually teased a reintroduction of Cybok, which would have been the only reason that I would have watched Discovery, and they teased it and they never paid it off. And it was like, guys, you already have this half sister that didn't exist before. Like, why aren't you giving me Cybok? Give me Cybok. And they ran their whole run, no Cybok. It would have been perfect, but they're stupid. They're stupid. So my biggest disappointment is no Cybok.
Oh no, Cybok. yeah, I know you really love your Cybok. I don't know. I think he was all a dream, but I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, well, I accept your apology.
Okay, so but this thing, they don't even understand what Section 31 even is.
Nope.
So
not even the slightest idea.
Because obviously in STD they have the secret spy organization where everybody's in uniform with Starfleet badges on everybody, wandering around, prancing around. Everybody knows who they are, where they are. They're not in the shadows spooking people. They're just there. There's just other officers just there with a different badge. And so, of course, none of
That's
them have
wrong.
anything to do. There's no.
Well, so Section 31,
Well, I'm not saying what it should be. I'm saying what it was in Kurtzman universe.
right? But okay, so yeah, Section 31 is an officially sanctioned part of
No, not
Starfleet.
officially sanctioned.
No, but it is officially
they
sanctioned by
use
Starfleet in the Kurtzman Trek.
Oh, in Kurtzman Trek, it's officially sanctioned, but in real
Yes.
Star Trek, it's they use the Starfleet Charter as an excuse to make up Section 31, which is completely separated from Starfleet and the Federation. In fact, they're unaware of it until Section 31 poisons all the changelings and all of that stuff.
Well, and here's my understanding and my interpretation is, and I'm speaking specifically of American legalities because I'm trying to find a common ground. But again, I'm Canadian, so I don't know them as intricately as natural Americans. But I see Section 31 as sort of the ability to plead the Fifth Amendment. Because I believe the Fifth Amendment is that you're not supposed to be able to give testimony that will incriminate yourself to another crime, right? Ish. So my idea of Section 31 is there is this.
Yes. Yeah.
There is this area of the Starfleet Charter. It is Chapter 14, Section 31, Article 14, Section 31. And the thing is that we are allowed to use extreme measures in times of crisis. And the people who glommed onto that when it was initially established, they're like, oh, so we can, okay, as long as we don't tell anybody, which is this extreme measures, we can do that. So there was like 2 or 3 guys at the beginning of Starfleet, and they recruited people, and they said, can you go do this? And it's like, but it's against the Starfleet Charter. And it's like, did you read the whole thing? Article 14, Section 31, we can do extreme things. And it's like, okay. And it's
but it was kind of like a cult who just were interpreting the law the way they saw fit.
And they found a loophole to be able to do whatever they wanted. And that is what it is. And it's just like there's no meetings. There's no hierarchy. No one sends messages. If I want to talk to another member of Section 31, I go there. That's what I.
There is no there though. There's no actual headquarters. Everything is implanted in everybody's brain. Section 31's headquarters was in Sloan's mind itself.
Yeah, but that's because everything is done verbally. There's no paper trail. There's nothing.
But that's if
if there is, then that means that it is at the highest level of security. It is beyond top secret. And why? It's because it is locked out by Section 31. And everyone just says, okay, if I can't get past Section 31, like Article 14, Section 31 of the Starfleet Charter, then I just can't get in. They just accept it.
Yeah, and I think that it would have been interesting to have real Star Trek do a follow-up of Deep Space Nine and say, what are the consequences of allowing this organization to continue now that we're aware of the evils that it could commit? But no, that's not what New Trek decides to give us. It decides to give us this, having nothing to do with any of that.
It gives us the normalization of evil in Starfleet.
Yeah, but that's also what Star Trek Picard Season 3 did. It gave the Federation gives Section 31 the Daystrom Institute Starbase that allowed them to make attack tribbles. So, like making tribbles have teeth, because of course
toothy
everybody
vaginas.
knows tribbles do not have teeth. And what? And
what?
The bones of Captain Kirk being left on display is absolutely wretched. It's terrible. But yeah, no, it's all over Kurtzman Trek. So this is very much in line with Kurtzman Trek so far. It's embarrassing.
Well, it is. It is the cherry on the sundae of Kurtzman Trek. It's what he wanted. And can you imagine the cherry on the cherry is that you have an Academy Award winner as your lead. You have 2 Academy Award winners in this television special.
I mean, I guess she got paid But
Yeah, she did.
She got paid more than half the budget of the TV show, so I guess she got some money at least for this one off. But I just wanted to make sure we covered what Section 31 actually is, because this movie doesn't do that, and I think we did a good job.
No. Well, it misrepresents any idea as to what Section 31 is. It turns it into Mission Impossible. It turns it into Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like it is. And also everyone, and I thought that watching Discovery or Strange New Worlds or even Lower Decks, any new Trek, why am I specifying each of them? Like
I don't know.
no one in this television special who is a part of the Section 31 team acts like they're from Section 31. No one behaves as if it's secret. And none of them are of a personality type that would be suitable to be a black ops team or
They don't even
unit.
act like they're as good as Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is not
Oh no.
is not as secretive as Section 31, but way better than this.
Like Johnny English is better at his job than any of these people.
Mm.
That's the Mr. Bean spy movie.
Oh.
Yes.
But anyways, someone needs to contract. Like, why do they need her exactly? And okay, so this is the part. This is why I don't really want to talk about this movie, because it's totally just series after series of different mystery boxes stacked together, put thrown around. You're just like, okay, what's going to happen? But do you care what's going to happen? None of the characters are any good. And we just made it to the title screen, and it has been an hour and a half
Yes.
of this live stream.
We got to at least talk about the characters.
Okay.
But I have to pee again.
Okay, so I'll go through what notes I have. You go pee, and so at least I'll start at the stardate 1292 outside Federation space, or as what Kurtzman's really saying, as far away from Star Trek as possible, so we don't have to do any of the Star Trek things. See,
yeah, I want to talk about the stardate.
Space.
I want to talk about the stardate. I promise to wash my hands. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. If I get to that part of my notes, I'll pause there. I was waiting, okay, so all the trailers had the dance party, so here's the dance party. We have a nightclub from all the trailers. And of course, this is not a movie. This is a TV show. As of course, Trev kept mentioning to me, I kept calling it a TV movie because that's what it calls itself, but it's not. And they break up this movie into 3 of these episodes, coded one transmission, one night at the Baram, which is the name of this place. And of course, we have these slides. These slides actually don't even get any of the they go straight to the weapon. I don't blame him for going straight to the weapon, but I'll wait to bring those pictures up. Anyway, you've seen the trailer. It doesn't look good. You've got everybody said the references, the snail alien singing like from The Fifth Element, and and I thought it was a Romulan who was laughing the first time I watched this. Some of these notes are from my first watch through, and some of these notes are from after I saw it the first time. I was making notes the second time. And yes, that means I watched this piece of crap twice. And they pretend that she's undercover under a name Madame de Franck, but why do they bother with that? Everybody knows who she is. Then, of course, we get that half black, half white alien, which you can contend should be annihilated. That was the whole point of that episode, was that that because racism is stupid, they killed all of themselves, and that was the whole morality point. And whether you're into that episode or not, at least it had some kind of morals, some kind of dilemma going on. This doesn't have any kind of dilemma. It's just here's a big old weapon that's going to go off somewhere. What's this weapon? What that's the mystery box. We don't know what this is. Well, guess what? I know what it is. It's a weapon that's going to destroy an entire quadrant. I hate the mysteries in this. None of them are intriguing, and I don't care to find out anything that is set up as a mystery in this stupid thing.
The hell are we doing? Why are we picking up this hitchhiker?
Yeah, he's smelly. And
I washed my hands.
Oh, good.
Oh no, not Dad. No, I wanted to see the crew. I wanted to go through the
There
crew.
was no crew. Oh, right. Okay. He does have slides for the crew, but I have to scroll through. Okay. So
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be specific, but
I
we
don't
might
know
as well
how.
let these people know who these people are.
I don't know where.
It's at the beginning. You're right at
No,
the end battle.
no, these are all the pictures he had.
All right. Well, no, he had multiple. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he
It
did,
really
but
doesn't
I
matter.
don't know where they are in this
Who
thing.
cares?
Yeah,
He did
no.
all the work. If you want to know the details of the plot, I would highly recommend going on to Trev Retro.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I'm not
That
getting
is
through this
that
whole
is a
damn
beat
movie.
by
I don't
beat.
care.
Yeah.
No, normally I'm in a rush to actually get through the whole movie, and today I don't give a shit. And
Yeah.
Trev went through the whole movie perfectly.
Yes.
So I'll link to that later. But anyway, there's a lot of
Well, can we
this
describe
nightclub.
them at least if we don't have the thing?
Yeah, okay. Just tell me which character you want, and I'll
Well,
find it in the
Sahar.
pictures.
Sahar, the leader
Who's
guy.
Sahar? Who's Sahar?
He's the leader guy.
Who,
You know, the
Sahar
black
is the leader.
guy.
Oh, that's Alok. His name is Sahar. Is
His
that his
last
last
name's
name?
Sahar,
Oh,
not
uh,
Quasi, who was the
I've just been calling him Alok.
okay, I don't know who that is.
Alok is
Maybe that's his first
Sahar.
name. Maybe that's his first name.
I don't know. I don't know
But
what's his first name or
Sahar,
his last name.
Quasi is the Cameloid, who is
Yes,
played
that's
by
the
Sam
he's
Richardson.
supposed to be a changeling, but he only changes 3 times.
Yeah, and he doesn't even do it logically. Like he
No, I
changes his
know.
mass
Like
incredibly.
there's this weapon that everybody's throwing around, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's going to turn into that weapon and trick somebody. But no, that would be too clever.
Well, but I thought he could. I thought Cameloids could only turn into biologics.
Oh, is that it?
I think
Okay.
so. Like we're not talking about a
Oh,
T1000. Can't turn into a floor.
well, Odo can turn into anything.
Yeah, but
So I don't know. I
Odo's a
didn't know.
changeling, and Quasi is
We're
a
talking about
Cameloid.
a changeling from a movie
Star
where I
Trek
wasn't
6.
really paying attention to the changeling that much. I was just trying to get off of Royal Pente. And
Franco Walker says, Scotty, we can't see the slides. Tell Jill. Franco,
no,
Jill doesn't care.
no, I don't want to see the slides. I was just looking for a good picture of Alok or Sahara. I didn't
This,
know his name was Sahara.
ladies and gentlemen, this is an amazing time for me because I am actually the one who cares more about showing you guys. And Jill is like, fuck that. This is a piece of shit that we shouldn't be sharing with anybody.
No, I thought I have 2 hours worth of notes. I'm not going to get to
That's fine.
because
Keep
I
going.
have to go
Oh,
pick up my
man.
kids.
Whatever you want.
No, he didn't. He must have pictures of him, but I can't seem to find any of them.
Then don't worry about it. Stop thumbing through the magazine. If you would like to see an in-depth step-by-step
There he
of
is.
what happens throughout the film, let's go. Oh, there's Rachel. And there's micropenis, as coined by Red Letter Media. I don't want to rip those guys off.
You can't. You can't. You have to reference. You have to say that was their joke. Yes. There you go.
So that's Sahar. He is a genetically engineered eugenics guy. He's like 300 years old, 200 years old. And so yeah, he's from the past. He wasn't an original augment. He was captured by not Khan. Thank heavens they didn't invoke Khan's name, but another competing augment who killed his family and then tore him apart and then put him back together better, like the $6 million man. So that's Sahar.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, they try to do some character development with him, and that is basically it. It is so weak, and
Yeah.
he's still one dimensional. Even still, all we know is that yeah, he was made an augment against his will, like Julian Bashir or something, but not by
Well,
his
Julian,
parents. Like, who killed his family?
Yeah, Julian didn't kill his family.
No, no, no. Nobody killed Julian's family, but I'm just saying they were both genetically modified without the consent.
Wouldn't it have been
Mm.
awesome in Picard season 3 if it was Julian Bashir's dad who would come back and be like, all I did was try and provide a better life for my son. And that's why he teams up with everybody. And it would have been like eugenics Bashir, but Bashir Sr. Like, this is the
Um,
kind of stupid shit that Secret Hideout does. It's like, ooh, what if Julian Bashir's dad was the bad guy who wanted revenge?
um,
Admit it,
he
it
was
would be better.
what? No, he goes to jail for his son. I wouldn't buy that. I mean, he eventually feels bad about it. You know,
Oh, he does. He loves his
yeah.
son.
That's the
He's
thing.
he
That's
goes.
the thing about real Star Trek is that people can learn and grow from their mistakes.
Yeah, and
I love
accept the
that.
punishment for what they've done. And also, I figure a Federation prison is pretty okay.
Yes, yes, it's not too bad.
Like, they have stun. Like,
Mhm.
all a prison riot takes is like a wide field stun setting.
Yes. Oh, and a lot of people in the chat might be confused, but how is he from the eugenics wars? I thought we were a little bit before the next generation. Well, he was asleep for 300. Did you say that part? Yeah, he was in
300 to
cryo
200
for
years, yeah.
300 years. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if you said that part or not, but okay, that's
I
it.
love
That's him. Who
I
do you want
love
to
how
hear?
that you not only phased out, like you drifted off during watching the movie, but you're also drifting off through the conversation that we're currently having. It's great. It's
Yes,
great.
yes. I think we're done with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
So who's
highlighting that in
next?
red.
Who's up on the docket?
Yeah, whoever you want.
Well, no, just go next. This is San, and
This is Dan. Yeah.
he's wearing the ghost costume from Ant-Man and the Wasp. He
Or
phases in and out. What
yeah.
about
Or
Quasi? Are you going to show Quasi? Are you going to show
Lord.
Rod Roddenberry? Are you going to show
Oh,
Rachel?
oh no. Okay, you're jumping all over the place. It's driving me
You said
bananas.
I could.
I know, but if we stop on a slide, don't you want to?
No.
No.
No. You can.
Okay. I know, but I need some kind of grounding here. I'm
Right.
not. I'm floating in the air and trying to. Let's like okay.
Like a kite.
We're stuck in the mystery box vortex of hell right now.
Well, and the
And
thing is that as soon as this guy shows up, it just turns into a 5-minute action sequence that doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
I just don't want to look at this anymore.
So
Can we
don't.
get rid of
Yeah,
it?
turn it off. Turn it off. If you're,
I just want to read my notes. I
do
don't.
it.
No. Okay. Oh right, that guy we just saw. I call him a lock. I didn't know his name was Shari.
San. Oh, you mean the guy with the beard?
Yeah. The one who's the leader.
Yeah,
Uh,
the eugenics guy.
I thought yeah, you don't a lock or Sahara. What was his name?
Sahar. I have Sahar. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna check
Yeah.
my
Okay.
IMDb.
Sahara is his name, but they say Sahara 3 times this entire.
You know, the
movie.
first
They
time,
say,
first time I
well,
watched it, Philippa calls him like Virgil, or maybe the Sharonian is
okay, never
Virgil.
mind. We don't care what his name is.
We don't.
So, but we do care when we get a super chat. Holy crap.
What?
What's going on? Zig Baldison sends a $2 super chat for this terrible movie. No, it's for my show, not for the movie. That guy in the helm looks like a slee stack. Yeah, the helmet. Yeah, I also think he looks like a Stargate SG-1 super soldier from some of the later series. It's or Star-Lord without the respiration part. It's anyway. One thing that a lock brings, I'm calling him a lock because that's what they say 45 times in the script.
Oh, you have the script, you vixen.
And he brings her some drugs for no reason that has no bearing on the episodes or the entire plot of all the shows. It's just like here, take this special sparkly because New Trek loves space drugs. Space drugs. Yes.
Like they did. It's so weird though. Like I don't understand. They do now that you mention it, they did drugs on Disco or STD. They did drugs on any episode where Raffi is in it, drugs. And then here, I'm sure they've done them in lower decks.
Yeah.
There's
I didn't watch enough of it
but
to know.
come on, there were drugs all over TOS and TNG.
Yeah, but the Starfleet officers weren't taking them, or
Oh, that's true.
I
Well, but
guess,
what about the
well,
game?
section. I guess these aren't Starfleet officers, so that's the whole point. Oh, we're
Yeah.
outside of Federation space. They're except for Rachel
Let's
Garrett, there are
do
no Starfleet
heroin.
officers. So let's take all the space drugs. Yeah. Anyway, that's this thing, and they
Well,
say,
but also,
and like whoever was saying in the chat, they talk like it's now instead of the 24th century.
yeah,
They say the word "sexy time," so that's one example.
yeah.
And they
Well,
use
and what?
that to
Oh, what is
describe the
it?
Delton because somebody saw a clip of the motion picture and said, "She's pretty.
And
It's kind of pretty bald lady."
I rewatched that like with the introduction, and it's like, oh, and the only species in the galaxy who is immune to Delton's sexy time is the cameloid. And I was like, say pheromones, just say pheromones.
Yeah, why do they say that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to myself. That's exactly what's in my notes. I put that the cameloids are the only species immune to Delton pheromones. I don't know why they're the only ones. But that's what they say. It felt that's when I said this feels like it was written by an 8th grader, a dumb one. And
Well,
so
and also just to give a little bit more credit to the Deltons here, and especially Lieutenant Ilea, is she may be exuding pheromones, but she does have a statement of celibacy on record. And so if she says, I'm not going to have sex with anybody, it's on the crew. Because I've already said in writing as a member of the Federation that I will restrict my cultural inclinations so that I can serve Starfleet and the Federation because it is a power for good within this galaxy. And so
Patty, you're assuming
if anybody gets out of line, it's not me because I already said I wasn't going to do it. And so when everybody is like, ooh, a Delton, it's like, no, this doesn't mean that she is, or he, because there have been dude Deltons, especially in Star Trek the Motion Picture. And it's like, it's fine. Just calm down. Everyone is interacting with a galactic community, and they have agreed upon a mission to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Yeah. You're talking about the real depiction of Deltons from the motion picture as they were created for that movie as
Yes.
per the phase 2 invention of that character.
Yes.
But here Mel is just a one-dimensional version of that, and
Yes.
she uses her pheromones, but they don't say pheromones, they say sexy time. There's also, I've always thought that Deltons might have some minor telepathy only because they
Yep.
go on to become betazoids later, and they have that since the betazoids are an evolution of the idea of Deltons, it would make sense that they had some of that too. And they are supposed to be central beings, but if you they operate that's why they do the oath of celibacy, because they're saying we're not going to do that. But they're also supposed to be highly intelligent and naturally adept at mathematics, according to production notes from the Star Trek motion picture, and that's why she's on the ship, navigating, because those kind of calculations are nothing to her. She just does them in her sleep. But these characters have none of that kind of depth.
Well, there's no need to investigate
her
a culture that uses sex as a handshake, which is, the Delton way. And yeah, they have no interest in anything beyond that, because as the characters in this show are, it's like, oh, you're a Delton, you like sex. There you go. We're done. Oh,
Yeah,
you're a robot. Oh, you're strong and stupid because you're a robot. Moving on.
Oh wait, here she is. Okay, I found the character pictures that he gave me, but this is lower production quality than I usually have. Here we go.
Same
There she
here
is.
when watching this.
Yes.
I am interested in the tongue usage to be able to make a heart-shaped bubblegum bubble.
Oh, it's so stupid. Well, it's just like the
I
drugs that they
like
give.
that. I
They
thought that
give
was
the
endearing.
sparkly drugs. Like, I mean, I guess it's fine. Okay, so here's it's like Willy Wonka. You can do different kind of candies that do funky things. It is fine. There's
If
nothing
you
wrong with
want
it,
to
but
see Star Trek, go
don't.
somewhere else and see it.
Yes, yeah, you're not getting that here.
No,
But they just basically give her some bitchy lines, let her insult people, and then she dies. So what was the point to set her up like that? She was
oh
just
no,
she's just there to raise the stakes, but she doesn't do that. There's no
but
stakes at all. Like,
this is exactly like this is a thing that I found really, really insulting. Uh, because people say, uh, and I've seen social justice and political, and some call it woke, although I don't know the definition of it. Like there are people say it's like, oh no, we're trying progressive values, and it's like, okay, so you have a woman who just fucks, and then we kill her, but and we're supposed to feel something about her because she was mildly snarky for approximately 15 seconds, and it's like, why are you fridging women, you progressive peoples? And then we have our main protagonist, who is actually a genocidal maniac who advocates for being a role model to young girls. And it's like, you guys are really bad at this. Like, you say that you want to be progressive, but every time you present it, it falls so flat. You have a fuck bunny and a murderer. Like,
yes.
I want to say Stalin because people get mad when you say Hitler. But it's like, what are you advocating for? And then the one who actually averts a Klingon war in actual Star Trek canon ends up being Pam from The Office? Like, what are your intentions when it comes to presenting strong female characters? Because what I've seen is not what you've been advertising, especially in this iteration. Pardon my stutter. I'm just a little confused because for all of your grandstanding about making a better world, you're actually dropping relations by many decades by saying evil, whore, and Karen. That's what we got for our female characters in this. Evil, whore, and Karen.
Yes, yes, we haven't gotten to Karen yet. Yeah, they make Rachel Garrett. That's the Karen. And yeah, because you can't be in Starfleet unless you're uptight and total bitch and everything. And
Yeah.
everybody, like, that's supposed to be a good thing. And our kids see that as a good thing these days. I don't understand. I'm not following. And that's
Well,
dumb.
but and even the
I keep falling
integration.
back on this thing
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. We don't want to talk about it anyway.
regarding. Oh, what? Yeah,
That's
okay,
not
the
true. I want to talk about it because
Camaloids
I
of
like it.
well, we're here, obviously.
We're here, aren't we? We're
Obviously.
talking to you, aren't we? I bet you want to know about your fish.
Oh yeah, I do. Well, yeah, yes, I seriously do. How is my fish? My lionfish was what was his name? He had a name.
Livingston?
Livingston? Yeah. Was that his real name? Okay.
No, that was the character name.
Okay. Yeah, I
I don't
knew
know
he
what the
had
real
one.
name of the lionfish in Picard's office was.
Okay.
Ready room,
Yeah,
not office.
I'm
Don't
more
get mad.
interested in that. The lionfish in Picard's Ready Room has more character than
Well,
than that.
later on, it was revealed that Patrick Stewart felt that it was rude or cruel to capture a fish within a tank, and
Whatever.
so
Everybody has
later on they
fishes.
retconned it and said it was a holographic fish, which
Oh,
eh,
they who did? Who
I
retconned
don't
it?
know, novel people.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a retcon because it's not on the screen.
Okay, makes sense. But whatever happened to Livingston? Did
But
Livingston die?
okay,
Everything does.
okay. Did he die?
He must have.
In
He
gen,
died in the
gen
crash of the Enterprise D. He died in Generations. Just another
he
reason to
did.
mourn. Oh, hooray,
Did
we found Spot. You go cry, Data. But where's Livingston? Livingston is dead.
he was so happy to find Spot though.
He
That was so
was.
weird. Okay, let's get through Rachel Garrett because that's
Sure.
an egregious piece of nonsense.
Yep.
Like you said, Karen, because we went. We already know Philippa. We went through Philippa. We went through Mel. You're right. We're going through the women. Let's see if I can find a picture of her in these pictures that Trev so graciously offered to me. So
None
I
of the
didn't have
blue
to do
hair
it.
ones. Like, give her the natural. Like, again, this is something that I found very, very strange, is because Rachel Garrett is actually a downgrade from Agnes Girardi. I wish I had been seeing Alison Pill, everything and nothing. I'm sorry to the actress, whoever you may have been. But why? Like, this was worse than Buffy. And you're supposed to be the captain of the Enterprise. You're not even in charge. You're basically you're Bailey Quarters from WKRP, except infinitely not as cool.
Yeah, that's kind of an insult to Bailey. I'm going to have to
It is.
phrase that.
Well, okay, so I don't know, because all quirky, sort of sidelined characters are sort of sage. Like they do stuff that is important. And the only reason that Rachel Garrett is in this telemovie is because she is representing Starfleet, which is to buy the book, and they even make fun of the Prime Directive. And it's like, how about you go and swallow your own head, you fuckstain who doesn't understand the Prime Directive? This is for the benefit of the galaxy because we are not colonizers, but the people who are making this show, and this is going to get political now, is like, they're all like, we don't like colonizers. And it's like, so why don't you like the Prime Directive? Isn't that sort of a way to around the idea of colonization? Do you even understand the political party that you are attempting to represent? And I only say this as a person who constantly sees it's like, oh, Star Trek was always meant to be political. And it's like, that's fine. That's fine. I accept that. 1960s, the one with the whales. Like, we have so much of that. And then when they are confronted with the ideals that they are attempting to defend, they fail completely at trying to defend those ideals. Like, these people are as simple as pack leads.
They don't understand the Prime Direct. It had nothing to do with anything that was happening here because it was just a way to make fun of Star Trek and not really actually talk about it or have any of those ideas, as you're saying, as you're trying to express in terms of
there is no way
not
that the
interfering with other aliens, but there's none of that. We don't meet other except for the crew themselves, and it's just a weapon. There's nothing here to actually
giant bomb.
Think about giant bomb happening. Giant bomb have
here.
to stop giant bomb. And yeah. I'm sorry.
Getting worked
I'm
up
sorry.
too.
I had
I'm gonna have to go buy a pack of cigarettes.
Well, they introduce her as a woman with a stick up her ass, and
no, so, bum or rear
backside.
end.
They said
backside. Yeah,
but
they
anyway,
say cut the shit. They say shit, and then they don't swear when it's like she's got a stick up her backside, and it's like backside.
That's what Kurtzman thinks of Star Trek, and
that's
what you're saying. Okay.
That's my 70-something-year-old mother says is backside when she doesn't want to say ass.
Well, I'm not concerned with all that today. But you say you're going through that argument. Star Trek's always been political. It's always been moral. There's always been how can we talk about the morality of the situation and get people thinking about it, not necessarily telling them exactly what to think, but making them question maybe some of their preconceptions. But this doesn't even do what a lot of bad Star Trek does, which is to shove down your throat some kind of message that they want you to believe, telling you what to think and saying, you must believe this or you are evil, which is what normal New Trek does. This doesn't even get that far.
No. Every time they get close to saying something relatively interesting, then there's an action sequence that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. But yeah.
A boringly blocked, horrible action sequence. If you would like to see bad action sequences,
This is full of it. Yeah.
Full of
This is
it.
totally full of it.
Yeah.
Are there any characters that we need to talk about before we go back to the chat? Because we can
We got to
also
talk about
run through
Zeph.
Zeph. Oh, Zeph. Right. Okay.
Zeph is the robot man.
Okay.
Who
Zeph.
is
Let me
Rod
bring up Zeph.
Roddenberry. He is the physical representation of what Rod Roddenberry is. He is a head plugged into a robot that doesn't know very much but collects checks. That's all Zeph is. Yeah, this guy. This is Rod Roddenberry hooked up to a cyborg suit because he gets money and gets to trade on his father's name. And I hate to say it publicly because I've always been like, oh, I get it. He's just trading publicly on his father's name and he's collecting checks. But the thing is that they actually made him into a character in a Star Trek-ish television show. Television special. So anyway, get this
I
off the
balked at
screen.
that. Yeah.
Get this off the
Okay.
screen. I don't want to see this guy. He's an idiot, and he is made to be
He
an
is.
idiot.
Well, yeah, he's made to be an idiot by a script that's already idiotic. So all I can remember is him jumping through walls like the Kool-Aid man, but instead of saying, "Oh yeah," he falls flat on his face every time.
Yeah, he doesn't even do it cool.
Yeah.
Like they don't even make it look cool. He is made to look like an idiot, clumsy man. He is basically the personification of a battering ram. And then when he is given the opportunity to batter, they give it to someone else because he's too stupid to survive. So anyway, that's him. And then there's the Irish guy who is from South Africa and then ends up being from Tennessee.
Okay, let me pull up the fake Vulcan who's not a Vulcan. He's a robot. It's a robot Vulcan controlled
Which
by a
doesn't
tiny
make any
alien.
sense.
Do I pull up the alien or maybe both?
We got to do both.
Yeah.
Because 90% of the performance is through the actual robot Vulcan. Vulcan, as Trev said.
Okay, I got both of them here.
All right. Show me the prettier one first.
Oh, the prettier one? No, I'm showing them both at the same time.
Okay, let's go.
Get it over with.
All right.
This thing done. So I can go back to the chat.
Sure.
Because you know the whole plot, right? It's just mystery box after mystery box. Who's the guy in the helmet?
Oh no,
it's San. It's San. San was alive all along. He just pretended he was poisoned. And what was in the literal mystery box? A weapon that can destroy the whole an entire quadrant. And how does the movie end? Where we got to get that. We got to get the weapon and make sure it doesn't destroy the quadrant. And how do they try to save everybody? Michelle Yeoh thinks.
Michelle Yeoh thinks that's a thing that I heard.
George Yu thinks that she can put the weapon right at the doorway, and that'll close up. Like she just knows
that doesn't make sense.
How the hell does she know that's going to happen? What should have happened is that both the Alpha Quadrant and
the mirror Alpha
and the mirror are both annihilated. But they think they're being clever because that's why they called it the Godsend, because it was the thing that closed up the fucking circle hole that was created by two ion storms fucking.
Oh my God, so many lottery tickets. Gorilla's been commenting so many times. It's like, oh my God, Jill, you're a sailor. You're blue as the sky on an ocean day.
I do apologize. I normally do not curse, but it's just this is
this is great. This is what I've always wanted on Tuesday. Really,
it's on Wednesday, Tuesday on a Wednesday.
Whatever. I don't care what day it is.
No, I could go. I have so many notes. I could go on for probably 5 hours actually talking about all the things that are stupid in this movie.
Yes.
But we're not going to. We got another hour and a half.
Franco in the chat says, why not just make the fake Vulcan Romulan? Agreed. Like,
I did so
not
much
only
work
that,
all these...
but Franco, and I brought this up on Trev's
I'm never gonna
stream, but this is like, why do people assume that it's a Vulcan? It's like if he's laughing, then it's a Romulan. They have common heritage.
Right. That's what I assumed. I assumed it was a Romulan. I always, if I see overly emotional, pointy ear person, I think Romulan. Before I think Vulcan. Mm-hmm.
Like it depends on your time frame because up until Balance of Terror, No one knew what a Romulan looked like. But once you get post-Romulan or post-Balance of Terror, then the Federation knows what they look like, and that's why Styles is all like, fuck you, Spock. And it's like, get your bigotry off my bridge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that was done in a way that, he said it. Keep the bigotry off my bridge. Keep it in your quarters.
Yeah, and what did Styles do?
He went to his quarters.
He sieved.
And
He sat there for a while. He was like, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. And then he gets kicked off. And then Spock saves him.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, right. And that's how you do a redemption is show some kind of understanding. Oh man, I was a fucking idiot.
It takes less genocide.
Yeah, it does.
Once you genocide, I don't care. Like, seriously,
Right,
I'm not going to care about you.
Some bad stuff.
Yeah, he was rude, a bit racist. But no, Philippa Georgiou blew up a planet. So, I don't know, man. Women, children, elderly, like everybody.
At least she's not discriminatory who she murders.
Yeah, but that's also, like, I guess we could apply the same logic to Darth Vader. Or actually, it's Grand Moff Tarkin. You blew up a planet. I don't know if I can come back from that. And that's why in Star Wars, I think that it's actually kind of beneficial that Leia never really forgave Darth Vader because, planet.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's her home planet.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Well, not okay.
Her mom's from Naboo. Her dad's from Tatooine.
Oh,
Alderaan is an adopted. Anyway, we'll talk about this later.
I'm not a Star Wars. I'm really sorry. You got to teach me. But,
no, we will. We will. We have to do episode 2 next. Because we already did episode 1.
Why am I going to the fucking prequels first? Okay, sorry. I don't mean to curse so much.
Chronological order. Chronological episode order.
Why am I so mad?
Because we're watching some of the most egregious Star Trek ever to be committed to film. So anyway, top is what he actually looks like. Bottom is the guy or the robot that looks like a Vulcan, but everyone thinks is a Vulcan because they don't know what Romulans are in the 24th century. And so, just get this off the screen. Anyway, so his name is Fuzz.
I love when you say get this off the screen.
Get this off the screen.
His name is Fuzz. Yeah, right. He's completely neurotic. He has several severe mental disturbances that, like, somebody says something related to size and he goes off the rails and says, "I'm gonna piss all over you" or whatever. That's literally a thing that happened in this movie. I'm not making that up.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a bad guy. And he's working with San, who didn't age for reasons. And then he ends up working with San. He gets beamed away. He's discovered. He eventually killed Zeph, Rod Roddenberry's character.
Yeah. He flies into his, because he the little one has his own tiny little ship that he flies around, and he flies into the any kind of.
And it's very much like the little guy from Men in Black who's controlling the big guy.
That's what I thought as soon as I saw it. That is exactly.
I thought it was Meet Dave. Did you ever see Meet Dave?
I'm a 90s kid. No, I haven't seen that.
It's with Eddie Murphy, and he's like in control of a human-sized robot, but they're all little people in the brain, and they treat it like a starship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that any good?
You know what? I know of it. I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen the movie in full. But yes, it is better.
I'm sure it's better than this.
Yes.
Another ridiculous phrase they say in this movie is butt pretzel. And that's what they're calling Rachel. They're insulting Rachel Garrett. Everybody insults Rachel Garrett at every point. Buzz says butt pretzel.
Huh.
And yeah, Buzz, like you said, he becomes a villain. So he's a saboteur. He saboteured the communications array which they never say that it's subspace. So what? Anyway, then he sabotages. Before that,
Should
he
I write that
sabotages
down? Should I write
the
down
ship.
butt pretzel?
I don't know if you
I'm
like
gonna write
it.
down butt pretzel.
I don't know what that does for you, but it's up. What do you do on your own time? It's up to you. And
No, it's not an activity. It's something to call other people, Jill. Heavens.
I don't know what's going on through
I'm
your
not going to
mind.
go and find out what it is to be a butt pretzel. I'm just going to be like, you're a butt pretzel. And that's
Well,
how
that's
that's
what
going to
Fuzz
work.
does. That's one of his insults. Anyway, he sabotages a ship that looks kind of like the La Serena from like you were saying on
Yeah,
Trev's
yeah, yeah.
show. I completely agree with that. But that gets destroyed. That gets destroyed almost immediately because they can't drive that ship. They have to drive a garbage cow. But we'll get to. Oh yeah, see, we have to talk about that. That's
Mhm.
basically a thing. That's a sort of a thing, I guess. And he don't the reason why he can use his little ship to fly around is because he can put his robot Vulcan into autopilot.
Which
And that's
doesn't,
how he says
and
Vulcan.
it even makes it like within its own narrative. It undermines the logic of what it means to be on autopilot. Is because one, it's like, oh, that's why you were acting so weird because we were going to look for Zeph and you were being weird because you were controlling Zeph, but your robot body was on autopilot. And then later on in this television special, it says that it's like, and it's doing like crazy kung fu moves and fighting, and it stabs Sahar, and it's like, oh wow, you're really good at this, and it's like, and you didn't realize that I was on autopilot the whole time, and it's like, but we already established earlier in this narrative that when you're on autopilot, you're not as good. So now you've changed, broken the rules. You are so inconsistent, narrative television special, that you don't even know the rules that you've been trying to establish so far. If you would so kindly stop eating your glue and pay attention to the assignment at hand, we would be very, very appreciative.
That would be nice, but no, that doesn't do that. You're right. He has a very
No.
complex fight scene with Alak Sahara,
Yeah.
and and then he says, "I was on autopilot this whole time," and it's like he was okay. I thought
Then
you
you're
were
super
human when you were on
competent.
autopilot. Yeah, exactly. This is a really good AI, better than earlier. But yeah, they only make him look like a retard in one scene, so that makes that yeah that is completely inconsistent. But if you want to know why we're not completely going over every single little thing, I do have notes on every single little thing, but we're not going to get to it all because a lot of the notes are me saying, something like Fuzz sabotages the array. We know this already. We haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm saying it here because it keeps it all to himself. And we're stuck watching a boring ass show while we wait for that reveal with nothing to watch except the most dull and tedious nonsense imaginable. That is a sample of some of my notes. Everything is just boringly set up and just to save you a whole lot of time. I'm definitely not going to get most of this thing. There's they do try to set some things up, but none of it ever pays off. They never try. And then they don't give you anything interesting to chew on, nothing to work your imagination in between waiting for the next thing to happen. It's just the two more examples of what I said. The show tries to be quippy, it tries to be funny, it never is.
It
Instead,
tries to be Marvel.
is that what it's trying to be?
I think
It's
so.
trying to be Suicide Squad, I think. And so I was hoping they were going to go all the way with that analogy and say, right after the bar scene, after Mel dies, that all of them except JoJo was going to die. And they're like, oh, just kidding. That was our fake team. Here's your real Section 31 team.
Yeah. Well, that would have been better.
That would have been funny. But yeah, like if they were going to do the ripoff, do it all the way.
Like okay. Oh, jeez. The best way for this television special to end would have been for Georgiou to die.
That was yeah, she did the self-sacrifice, but she gets to live. Or at least that's what they want you to think she's doing, but
Yeah.
she couldn't know. She couldn't know what was going to happen when she did what she did. But she did think she was going to die.
But she's an unlikable, murderous, genocidal, maniac character who enjoys eating eyeballs, even though she learned that maybe not eating sentient people is a thing that you should do moving forward. But she has eaten
Did she
sentient
learn that?
individuals. She's, well, in a previous Discovery episode.
I don't know about that.
Like, this is
But
such
yeah.
a.
You
this
did tell
is,
me, you did tell us earlier.
But what is it? This is again, I'm doing my best and I keep tripping over it because I want to make sure that it is expressly clear. This is not a movie. This is the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island. This is something just to reunite people
Oh
to
no.
try.
Don't.
And oh no, and I agree.
That was
Jill, what were
fun.
you going to say?
The Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island wasn't the best Gilligan's Island, but that was kind of funny.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that Star Trek. No, wait, hang on. What I'm saying is that Section 31 is not as good as the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island.
Thank you. And
Like this
yeah,
is
no, it's
if
just basic.
if there is a signpost that says "Do not enter," there is no Star Trek here. It should say Section 31.
Not only does this not qualify as Star Trek, but it hardly even qualifies as science fiction, except for that they're in space and there are aliens.
I feel like we're winding down and I want to just okay, so stuff happens, people fight, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. The first
Or
act
you're winding down. Speak for yourself, but okay.
Okay, well let me just okay. First act is introducing the characters badly. The second act is who is the mole, and we find out. And then the third act is a punch fight between stupid people.
Well,
While
a lot of my notes say things like, "This conversation is so boring." The one that Quasi had, they were talking about somebody stole it, and they were talking about the weapon and how Quasi knows that somebody stole it from Georgiou, and that conversation is so boring. None of it matters. The show doesn't matter. It's awful, and I don't want to see anything like this ever again. And I'm so grateful that the show was squeezed into one pitiful trash of a so-called movie. There's still nothing to say. Like in my notes, this is you were going through it, and I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
no,
Go
keep
ahead.
going. People like you better.
No, I wish I didn't interrupt you because you were doing my job for me, and I should have just let you go.
I know you interrupted. I do that all the time, but now it's up to you. You're on the hook.
But okay, but there's nothing to say. We still have more mystery boxes. This thing just plods on and on for an hour and 40 minutes, longer than it is needed to say what the story is, and it takes about an hour and 40 minutes too long. And the runtime is an hour and 50 minutes. So you only need 10 minutes
No.
to say what this entire story is all about.
This is an hour and 35 minutes, and the Star Wars Holiday Special is an hour and 37 minutes.
I thought this was an hour and 50 minutes.
No.
Okay, whatever. I don't care what
95
the runtime is.
minutes. 95 minutes.
Okay, it feels longer than it is. Oh, and we didn't get to the stupid technobabble that isn't real technobabble.
This is something that we didn't get to really get into on Trev's because you are one of my favorite people to talk about technobabble. So what about the technobabble did frustrate you?
None of it was related to real Star Trek, but of course
When
it wasn't,
was
'cause
it?
this isn't Star Trek. But okay, but there's only 2 times or 3 times when they say some stupid shit. The first one is asymptote coil, and they never really explain what it is. There are tons of coils all through Star Trek, but none of them are called an asymptote coil. So I mean,
Sounds
it just
dirty.
feels like someone just asked, "Hey, what's a smart word?" And someone answered, "Well, I was doing homework with my daughter, and we had to find the asymptote." It's tangent. To an asymptote is a line. So if a curve is approaching, so if a curve is going to infinity, the asymptote is the line that it is approaching. It approaches the line and it gets super close to it, but it never quite touches it.
Yeah.
And so, but what does that have to do with a thingy to fix an array, communications array? I don't know.
Well,
Or
and it's
was that on
also
the ship?
no,
I
you're right.
forget. I get them mixed up.
It's the kind of thing that I would use if I were writing technobabble because I've always had a problem. How can you go towards something and never actually achieve it? And I was very upset by it when I was in, you know, grade 10.
Yeah. Oh, but the asymptote was, the coil that was on the ship. That's what was missing from the garbage cow. The array was missing a theta junction, which also bothers me too. So, so
Like I remember I guess
junctions are a real thing. But
bringing up real world mathematical hypotheses that is Star Trek. And I remember
it's,
like looking at the Heisenberg compensators and I was like, why the hell did they call it the Heisenberg compensators? And then I found out and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's a
That's
real
an
thing
integration.
and yeah, that's from quantum physics. It's fun stuff. It's it is. There's an element of fantasy to all of this stuff, but
if you apply and as just to support what you're saying is what the hell is it called? The coil?
Asymptote.
But that doesn't make sense why that would be a coil.
No.
Like it doesn't even it doesn't
make sense.
Heisenberg probability is because if you observe something, then you will never be able to actually see it in its natural state because the activity of viewing it changes their behavior, and thusly it makes sense for the transporter to have a Heisenberg compensator just to be like, oh yeah, no, that's how that works. We observe it, but we have a conservator.
It has reasoning. Real Star Trek Technobabble has reasoning.
So why does this coil? How does this coil even rationally for any intellect? They no, but anyway, all I'm saying is that the inference is apparent when it comes to Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they just like scan through some Wikipedia page about quantum physics or whatever, even basic grade 10 mathematics, and they're like, oh, that's a fun word. We'll make that into technobabble.
Yeah. No worries. You didn't have to contact the science consultant for this. Believe it or not, New Trek does have a science consultant, but they just email her every once in a while for
Sarah Lee.
But they did not even do that for this one. So they just were like, well, we don't need her. We can look up big words ourselves. We have a thesaurus. And so
I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
You literally did, Rich. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. I forgot you quit smoking. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zeph is murdered. Okay, I'm at the part where Zeph is murdered.
Fuck him.
But okay, so they're using their smartphones to find Zeph, and I think they're supposed to be tricorders. But they look really
like PSPs.
iPhones. Yeah, video game console, definitely.
Maybe even just like a smartphone.
Yeah, a smartphone with the fancy cover, like you got a case, so when you drop your phone, it doesn't get smashed.
I get so upset by that. Like, one of the things that I really enjoyed about Trials and Tribulations is that there was an acknowledgement of the aesthetic of the 23rd century from the original series, from a 24th century perspective in a 1990s television show. And it was like, this is just the way it was then. And now there seems to be an embarrassment. And I don't know if it's because we want a new or they want a new audience, and it's like we can't show that shit.
Well, what audience are they getting with all of this emptiness? I have parts of my notes that say I'm not even going to say what's happening here because this is all just empty bullshit. And somebody says Chaos Goblin, and
Oh fuck, I hate that guy.
This makes the way to Eden look insightful and meaningful.
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I have a question for you, Jill.
Yeah.
So, is there a something that has been pretending to be Star Trek that is worse than this? Section 31 with Academy
Oh,
Award winners Michelle
just
Yeoh
because it's
and
so
Jamie Lee
long.
Curtis.
The only thing I can think of are those animated short treks, but at least those are
Oh,
over
that's a
really
good call.
fast.
Yeah, short treks.
Those burn into your soul though. Those
Yeah,
are
they
awful.
hurt. They hurt. Yeah, that.
They're-
You know what? I would say. Remember the Tribble one where they were eating tribbles? They said they were
oh
like, "Oh,
yes,
we'll harvest the tribbles." It
yes, I
really
remember
bothered
that.
me because it had so many. It had two actors that I really enjoy, and but yeah, that Tribble episode of the short trek, that was
Yeah,
worse.
no, that was terrible.
And then
That
the
was
booger
absolutely
one,
awful because
the
what
booger
was
one was worse than this.
yeah, the booger one is the first thing I thought of was
Yeah,
no, I don't even want to talk about it because it's
yeah,
just they make
but
fun
they
of
are
Star Trek so bad and it's not they don't get it.
they are they are worse than this. Like I would say because it is like because Section 31 is short. And if you're a Michelle Yeoh fan, I would say check it out. But if you're a Star
Um,
Trek fan, I would also say like, watch it, I guess, if you like hate watching
Only if you're
things.
desperate, like just to watch something that has
No.
a Star Trek label, because this is a lot of my notes are just saying this. We're going from boring mystery to boring mystery. I don't know how many
Yeah.
times I say that,
Fetch
and how many
quests.
times I say half my notes are just filling in plot holes that I shouldn't be filling in because this doesn't deserve to be fixed. This
Oh
doesn't
no.
deserve headcanon. And I
No.
worked way too hard on this. I'm not getting through any of this shit.
This
But then we get to the minecart scene, and
Oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom while you're talking about the
no, we're
minecart
not gonna.
scene.
We're not really gonna talk
Well,
about the
no, I do
minecart
have to
because
pee. I
we
have the
talked.
bladder of a
Okay,
47-year-old.
all right, you can go.
And I've
You
been
can go.
drinking beer like nobody's business. How do you think
I have.
I'm like dulling the pain?
Oh, that's my problem. I've been drinking coffee. That's been my mistake.
Well, coffee's a diuretic. I can't believe that you have been pooping.
Well, my digestive system doesn't. You know what? I don't need to be talking about that on this live stream of shit about my shit. Get the hell out of here and come back in a
I'll be
minute.
back in a minute.
Okay, so yeah, so they the Minecraft scene, it's terrible. It's not good. So normally when you're underground, when you have a base underground, think of Cheyenne Mountain. How do you get down underground? On Cheyenne Mountain, this is a real military base I'm talking about that they use in the fictional Stargate SG-1. They use elevators. And what do they use in Star Trek? They use turbo lifts. What do they use in Section 31? The floor suddenly starts moving and you're flying around in a tube. Because I guess whoever designed this thought, well, gophers make tunnels. So if I had an underground bunker, it would be full of tunnels. And so I'm just trying to get into the mind of the writer. I don't really know what they were thinking when they conceived of this terrible nonsense. But yeah, so I get delirious watching this, and it's also kind of nauseating if you're prone to seasickness. Anyway, it's not good. It's all fuzzy and it's not interesting to watch. And this is one of the few times that the shapeshifter actually uses his power to save one of the guys. But wait, okay, so this is also they get out of the platform, flies up into the none of the shit makes sense. Talking about it, I can't talk about this movie because it doesn't make sense to talk about it. They're in a tunnel. They fly out of the tunnel. They they're going sideways through the tunnel. Then they go up and up through the tunnel above ground. So now we're not in the underground base and we're up in the sky. And Giorgio is fighting Fuzz, but Fuzz is just the robot. And I never know if Fuzz is actually inside, or I guess he actually is in this point. But like Scotty says, it's so inconsistent. to know when the alien is actually inside of his robot or if he's on autopilot. That it doesn't matter. None of this matters. This is all stupid. Actually, let's see. Oh, and DJ Knight. Hey, DJ. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for whatever you like. Hey, Scotty. I take offense to that. Monkeys are not fugly. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, not all of them. Was Giorgio a descendant of Sato? If so, why the Hunger Games? Yeah, okay, Melanie, you're trying to make it make sense. You actually have a brain, and you know that the Terran Empire is ruled by hierarchy and descendancy and family. But this new Trek, this Section 31 throws that away. It throws the idea of family away in the first scene where the Terran Empire has Giorgio kill her entire family. Like she has they're all poisoned at dinner. And so this has nothing to do with even the way that the mirror universe was depicted in A Mirror Darkly for Enterprise, which is vastly better. Don't watch this shit. Just go watch Star Trek Enterprise. You'll have more fun. STD portrays a Starfleet that the Klingons beat. The Federation won by treachery. So great that no noble sacrifice would ever make Klingons believe that the Federations had honor. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, man, STD. It's just that's a whole nother bag of worms that I just cannot get into right now. It's well, no, except for to agree with you on the fact that New Trek does love to make the Federation and Starfleet evil, and they also have no idea what the difference is between Starfleet and the Federation. Starfleet is the military side and exploration scientist side of that support the Federation, but the Federation is an agreement of planet member worlds who all get together, hundreds, thousands of worlds who decide they want to work together under common ideals. But no, Kurtzman Trek doesn't even have the basic foundations of Star Trek to even begin any of this, and that's why it's so difficult to talk about, because it is so bad, and this doesn't even pretend to throw any of those even ideas around.
Doesn't even try and be a part of the rules that have already been established in the history of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It is literally Alex Kurtzman saying, I want the CIA to be a part of Starfleet.
Yeah. Yeah, CIA, the CIA, that's the right answer. I was going to say FBI, but that's internal. That would just be on Earth. Yeah. So is that we both?
Oh, Gorilla gets it.
I'm just going through the chat right here.
Yeah, you do, you lady.
You can highlight Gorilla though. You highlight Gorilla. Let's skip around, but you help me.
Chaos is my friends with benefits. One of the most cringe fucking 1990s I know what you did last summer lines ever, and it's 2025. These children who are attempting to write dialogue and characterization for the person who sacrificed the Enterprise at Narendra 3 is like, oh no, she's just like Sarah Michelle Gellar. Woohoo! Oh my God. Like, it is an outdated reference of an outdated reference. This is trying to be hip to people who are trying to be hip to me. This is so ridiculous. It is, if you know anybody who does adult coloring books, this is who it's made for.
Oh, no, coloring can be relaxing.
All right. Well, it's made for Jill, and she didn't like it.
No, I freaking hated this shit. No, well, because it reminds me of. It makes Wesley Crusher look good. Like in First Duty, he says that.
Let's not go crazy.
Starfleet officers don't lie, and that's basically they took that one line and made Rachel Garrett, and that's
well, you sound like a butt pretzel.
Wesley Crusher is Wesley Crusher. Rusty Crusher is a deeper, more multifaceted character than Rachel Garrett. And you know how terrible it is for me to say a nice thing about Rusty Crusher. And so,
Can I ask you something
oh
just
my
sort of
god!
outside but still
Rachel
within
Garrett
this?
is Wesley Crusher boiled down to that
Who do you like better?
one
Do you like
line.
Wesley or Tilly?
Oh, Wesley,
Oh my
obviously.
God, you didn't even have to
Sure.
think about it. You were just
No,
like, how
because
dare you bring up Tilly?
Tilly is they wanted to have Barkley, but they didn't know how to write Barkley.
Right.
Garrett. Okay, Garrett says okay. So this Rachel Garrett is just there for them to make fun of Star Trek, which is Kurtzman Trek
Yes.
does all the time, but it's done nakedly here. And so she says, "I like order. I like prediction and inclusion." And so that's the deepest that they can go to try to understand scientific methodology. Because after that line, I expected her to add, "These are discovery writers, remember? I like science," or "That's the power of math, people," and that's Tilly.
Franco
They all
Walker
came
says
together.
that he likes Tilly better than Wesley.
Fair
And
enough.
so does Gorilla. Gorilla, I'll take
Oh.
Tilly over Wesley only because she has a knife. You got a great ass, Tilly. And Gorilla's head is right up it.
Well, and yeah, if you like Tilly for that reason, I can understand that.
Yeah, no, I enjoy
It's not
not
my
being
jam.
smothered by my lovers. I prefer a She-Hulk. Green Lady.
Well, yeah, and that's why people say they like her in season 1, but then
Yeah. Then she turns into
grows.
the physical proportions of a sofa.
Oh, and every Trekkie has to say it. Every single Section 31 rule. It's a rule. It's a rule that every Trekkie has to say this in terms of the garbage cow because they baked it right into here. So I didn't mean to say that Section 1 should be hauling garbage. I meant to say that it should be hauled away as garbage. So that's the
so
required line that I had to say today. I'm sorry. It was
no,
the
it is
rules. I will get
required.
arrested.
Well, and I said on Trev Retro, I was like, why are we hauling garbage when you can just like atomize anything, like with a laser or phaser?
Right. Yeah, since this
But
is close to TNG, then they should have replicators, and so that they should be able to turn matter into energy, and trash is a thing of the past.
like even transferring it to like deuterium, which is, from what I understand, what they do with the. But even going back as far as Enterprise, there is like a Q&A with a class of students where Trip has to explain that everything is sort of reconstituted. So if you like you're like poop is made into
That's Star Trek Enterprise, where they had to use the actual materials that they had since they didn't quite have replicators yet. So they actually had to use their materials, and so that ties into the original series where they have those they do a similar thing. You still need to fill up the ship's stores, excuse me, the ship stores with what the food synthesizers are going to make you, the little cubes or whatever. But
I love those cubes.
If you run out of the actual ingredients, you're not going to be able to make it. So that's why they have to recycle everything they've got.
The dead man gets it with Trip, and he's like, I have to answer a poop question?
Yeah, but I'm saying that doesn't happen with replicators. Replicators make the thing that you want, and they turn whatever trash into energy.
Yes.
You're not eating poop or pee like
no, you're not
Enterprise
eating poop
and TOS.
It's a matter transfer.
I don't know if that's I don't even think. Do they say they eat feces in Star Trek Enterprise? I don't remember that part.
They do.
They do?
Okay. Waste. They say waste.
Okay, well, as long as, I guess, but astronauts do have to get water from urine, so that's a thing that exists in real life.
But there's a filtration system. It's not like they just like chill it and shake it in a martini shaker and be like, ooh, I'll add lime.
Right. Exactly. It's not being an astronaut is not glamorous, but okay, no. So I can accept Enterprise saying that because replicators aren't there yet.
But then again,
They
also
are
based
here.
on when this story takes place, if it's supposed to be in the early 24th century, then like there
And there's
should
no
be
excuse for this shit.
advances. Like this is the kind of thing where they're highlighting the characters and the characters suck because they're just archetypes, I guess.
Yeah, that's why the best character is Quasi, because he's the one who's least of an asshole of everyone. That's the only reason, because he's less of an asshole.
Well, Sam Richardson, I would like to say that Sam, the actor who plays Quasi, Sam Richardson, I've known since Veep. I think that he is a charismatic actor. I think he was wasted in this. Out of any of the actors, Sam Richardson was just like, yay. But then he did stupid shit because they had to write stupid shit for him to do. But no, he's probably, yeah, he's my favorite actor in this entire thing. And the only other person that I can say, and I don't know the name of Mel, her actress, but I liked her because, you know, I like bald chicks. I've
She
been a
was kind
fan.
of, yeah, but she was an asshole though. She was one of she was not nice. Like I don't know,
Well, she
like
didn't do
whatever.
anything bad to anybody. She was just a little snarky.
Yeah, I
She
guess.
wasn't
She
representative
wasn't
of
alive
a
long.
Delton.
She wasn't alive long enough to do anything or not do
Exactly.
anything.
Oh, and I remember we were talking about this earlier, and it was like, why does it take so long to
Oh,
disintegrate Mel? And I was like, well, but technically the weapon that is being used against Mel when she dies, spoilers, is
yeah.
a mirror
You
universe.
can't
It,
spoil it. Scotty has
it's a,
said already.
yeah, no, it's impossible. Hey, Tiger Stripes is here. Yay.
Hi, Tiger Stripes. Hope you're having a good day.
Anyway,
Did you finish? Did you
I'm done.
finish your thing? Okay. Okay. So
Let me
there was
finish.
something.
Let me
Yeah.
finish.
No. No.
Let
I
me
know.
finish. I'm finished.
Okay. Good. So Giorgio says something ridiculous, and I'm glad I'm looking at the end of my notes here. I'm sort of at the end of my notes. I'm more than halfway, and it says here, she says she'll direct all power to the tractor beams, and Rachel Garrett says that's a good idea. Usually in real Star Trek, they say they'll redirect warp power or redirect transporter power, or if they really want to say all power, they'll say all power except for environmental systems, except for life support. So if they follow Giorgio's orders here, they're going to all die from temperature fluctuations, asphyxiation, or oxygen deprivation in hours. So thanks for strangling everyone, Rachel. That was not a good plan. So that happens actually twice. Somebody says it again. Put all the power in the thing. All you don't say all the power. And here's a real Star Trek example of that in the animated Star Trek episode, The Infinite Vulcan. And I just forget about Giant Spock for a minute. This is all about Scotty and how much more brilliantly this animated series was conceived, even written by Walter Koenig, who didn't actually get to be Chekhov in the animated series, as some people have to mention. But yeah, he helped write this episode, of course, with the showrunner DC Fontana. And frankly, I just wanted to put some real Star Trek in here for a second, just so everybody knows what real Star Trek is, because right now we haven't seen any of it this entire live stream. So Scott says, "Keep trying, Lieutenant. We've got to make contact with the captain." And Uhura says, "It's no use, Mr. Scott. I can't get through." And Scott responds, "Except for environmental systems, I want the entire power load of this ship redirected into a tight beam transmission. If we can break through the shielding, we can reach the captain." And Uhura says, "Mr. Scott, you're risking a total drain of our dilithium crystals. To maintain communication, we would have to burn out all our reserves." And Scott says, "And don't I know it lasts, but we must speak to the captain." Ah, okay.
People doing their jobs.
And
Also, you know what?
I'm
Speaking
glad I put that in there. It made me feel better.
No, but that is such a great interaction in terms of we have to do things that are somewhat unorthodox. We have to do things that will ensure the safety not only of our mission but also of our people. and I have a responsibility to the ship and the crew and the captain. And it is a matter of people, all for one for all kind of thing. And that is something that is sorely lacking. From the introduction of Mikey Burnham, is that his name's Mike. She sits there and says, it's like, I'm going to do whatever is necessary based on my personal, nothing to do with the goods of the many outweighing the goods of the few or the one. It is absolutely antithetical. Everything, like, this is, I don't know how long, and I still like Star Trek Picard season 3. I still like Star Trek Lower Decks. That's fine. That's cool. But when you look at this, when you look at this television special, and you say, this is where we are in the state of Star Trek, it's like, oh wow, this isn't Star Trek. It's not. It is selfish.
No, because
it is self-serving. It doesn't even adhere. Like, if I were to see a Section 31 film, I want to see Hunt for Red October. I want to see something with a guy going between, or a girl, if you want to bring Michelle Yeoh, that's fine. Out of her Oscar sleep, that's fine. And we'll just bounce around and she's going to ship. But, like, this is not as good as Picard season 3. Like,
well, no, yeah, Picard season 3 is still terrible to me.
Better than this, but it's better than this.
It still comes from Kurtzman Trek, and it still has terrible trappings that I don't like. But yeah, it's better than this. It had the Doug Drexler and Mike Okuda worked on it, even though they don't put their names in the credits. So yeah, it had more.
Like, this is an embarrassment. This is something that I would put out. This is something that I would put out as like a secondary. This is a web comic. This is something to keep fans interested. This is short treks, and they should have just released it over the course of a year. The fact that there are 2 Academy Award winners involved in this makes me question the Academy Awards. Not that I need a reason. And this is I wanted to talk about this, and I'm just getting angrier and angrier.
Well, okay, I can pick up. So every damn ship in this show has to have some spinny things on it, even the garbage scow. You can even hear Kurtzman, like, in your mind say, give everything more spinny movie things. Distract people from the banality as much as possible. Also, the tractor beam that surrounds a ship also seems to function as shields. I'm trying to understand this thing and trying to give it some kind of credence, but there's none. And it's just a thing that pushes things around. It's just, and I thought tractors were supposed to pull, but it's just pushing. And also, what? Also,
on the garbage scow, like, remember they had the whole thing and they showed the beams coming out of the out of the scow. Like, those aren't shields. Those are, like, it's like a field of attraction so that space garbage would come in. Is that how that worked?
Yeah, I think that's what they said. I did highlight the dialogue for that. It said, he said, so this thing flies around in the middle of a tractor field. People jettison their garbage into space, and the scow flies around and drags the trash along with the field. Once the tractor is full, it dumps the trash into the nebula, where it disintegrates in the radiation. And this particular nebula is chock full of plasma that's almost like a sun. There's so much freaking plasma in it, and so it looks like it's burning.
I'm gonna watch Picard season 2,
and it's gonna be better than this shit.
It's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. At least John Delancey is in that.
I've never seen all of Picard season 2 because
we should review it.
It disgusted me so much. I tried to. I only got up to episode 3. I couldn't do it. There's more to banal dialogue because according to Zan's ship. Okay, so he has photon torpedoes. That's normal. They say photon one time. But then he has something called proton cannons, which is not a thing. Like even if they would have said photon cannon or plasma cannon, that would have been fine. But now you got to watch out for those protons. I mean, I guess they don't have their electrons with them. I don't know what a proton cannon is. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
Like the last time I heard about a proton weapon was in Star Wars, where it was like your proton torpedoes. And the only reason I figured that they said proton
Oh,
torpedoes is
that's
because they
it.
didn't want photon torpedoes, because that had already been established in Star Trek, and George Lucas does borrow from.
Okay. That explains it.
So it's, yeah, no, but the proton cannons, I wish there was, what were the cannons in, it was photon. It was photon cannons in Enterprise, wasn't it? Before they had the phasers, the phase cannons on the NX-01.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, let's go with that. And if we're
That's good enough
wrong,
for me.
don't forget
I'm
to
not as
like,
good.
subscribe, and
Look,
tell us
I'm
why
not
we're
as
wrong in the comments.
I get to be wrong every once in a while. I don't know it all.
I
I need
prefer
to
being
rewatch
wrong all the
Enterprise.
time until I'm proven correct.
Right, exactly. I'm open to learning from you. If you've got something to say in the comments, yes, absolutely. Please let me know. I want to hear. So they're saying the radiation from the nebula is going to wear down sand shields, but it's going to do that to their shields too. Whatever. What's happening?
Whatever.
There's weapons are out. For some reason, this garbage ship is able to do something, even though it doesn't have any weapons. It just uses its tractor beams.
Oh, they
And
pull
they
in, they pull in the garbage, and then they
yeah, the
shoot it
garbage.
at the shielded La Serena class ship
Yeah, with the doll. There's a doll that
with a
Rachel
doll.
Garrett puts a bomb in it. And so
That doll thing was so frustrating.
yeah,
It was like,
it
why are
was
you bringing
annoying.
this in? Is this
I
your
think
version of Grogu?
I think they think that they're being funny, but none of it is funny.
It's not funny at all. And the thing that I thought about was, remember when Cisco beamed the Tribble with the bomb in it off of K7 in Trials and Tribulations? I was like,
Mm.
so it's like this, but worse.
Oh, and
So yeah,
they
no.
just beamed it off. So I
Hey,
guess the
West
garbage
Kegel.
cow didn't have any transporters, because that would have made more sense to use transporters than have to figure out how
Yeah.
to open the damn ship. Like, whoa, what button opens the doors? Um,
Which was
sorry.
the dumbest joke. Because they're like, I have two buttons to choose from. And they already make it so that Quasi is indecisive because he's a shapeshifter. And so he doesn't know which way to go at any moment. So he's, milk toast. And so he says, one of these buttons is open the cargo bay, and the other button is self destruct. And as soon as he said that, I knew what they were doing in terms of, not being able to read alien
Hmm.
glyphs
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
have
yeah.
you. But I was just like, what
Yes.
intelligence would ever make it
They they were
so
I
that
think they
your
were trying.
options were like on the same panel? It's like, this is destroy yourselves, and this is open the hatchback. And it's
Oh
like, that
yeah,
would
yeah,
never
no.
exist.
I
That would
think he was trying. I
never
think they were trying
exist.
to copy that thing where you're trying to defuse a bomb and you got to pick the blue one or the black one. This is the same thing as
Well,
that.
it
They just
failed, and
copied
it was
all the
stupid. And everyone who was
and
involved with the making of this
the
television
red pill or
special
the blue pill.
was retarded. I don't care how many Oscars or millions of dollars
Um,
you have besmirched the nature of Star
okay,
Trek. I
yeah,
don't think that you should ever be involved again, and I hope you go away forever.
that's what I hope too. Like I hope this is
Hmm.
the last year we have to hear of any Christman
I'll
secret
see
hideout
you
stuff.
next year for Starfleet Academy.
No,
No,
well,
we're not going to review it. We're not going to review it.
if it gets revealed next year, that's fine. As long as they're not making any more Star Trek and a Kurtzman Trek in 2026. But I want to get through some of my notes before I have to go soon. And I was waiting. I was waiting for this. I was trying to say, okay, so how does this device get activated? Because the first time I watched it, I was like, whatever. Suddenly, this thing
It's
is
a
on.
Rubik's
Guess how?
cube.
It's a Rubik's. It's just. Do you want to know how to activate this Doomsday device that
Press the
destroys
button.
an entire quadrant? No. Well, almost. But the first step to activating this device is to accidentally toss it to the ground, and then it starts spinning.
Oh yeah.
And then the last step is, like you said, press the button, but it has to be Giorgio because it needs some biosignature. So somebody's got to cut off her hand to activate the weapon if they're not her. And so then they develop what are tiny parasites? By saying they rule. That's right. Okay, stupid Buzz is trying to
Kurtzman's.
say. Yeah, the Kurtzman. Tiny parasites are Kurtzmans, and I think they're trying to build Fuzz up as a super special threat, like they're like the Borg, like this is their Borg. These parasite aliens. I think if this turned into a TV series, the parasite aliens would be something. But then they have the wife of the wife Wisp as part of the team, so now they have another female in a male's body, whale robot body, and yes, that's supposed to make somebody happy. I don't understand. She's got. He also picks up the actor picks up this terrible southern accent that doesn't. I hesitate to say southern accent, but that's what he's going for, and it's worse than his Irish accent. And
And he's not
anyway,
particularly attractive,
he's not
one way or
attractive. He's
another.
not really threatening. It's just like, oh, he's just call the exterminator already.
When he's playing a man, he looks like Screech. And when he's playing a woman, he looks like Screech.
Yeah, and then they want us to believe in the love between Giorgio and San, and remember, and there's this flashback thingy, and we're still all supposed to be super emotional about this. And San's gonna be the he's still mad. He's gonna be the emperor now, and he's gonna be a benevolent dictator. But Giorgio learned her lessons from being a cannibal, genocidal maniac dictator, and she knows that you can't be a benevolent dictator. And just I and then
In fact, they're still making jokes at the end, being like, oh no, she might kill us. Like,
right,
they're
right, right.
still
We totally
acknowledging the
can't
fact that
trust
she
you.
is a bitch.
Yes. Yes, and I don't believe this love story, and I have something that might make you happy. Twilight is a better love story than Section 31.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't and this is coming from somebody who would sooner burn a Twilight book. I really hate that series. I don't like it.
I
And
understand.
so that this is a bigger statement for me than anyone might realize.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm on side, but I don't want to make a big deal about it because we're not here to
No,
review Twilight.
no, no, it's really bad. I don't like it.
I
But
like it. I like it a
I know
lot. I
you
think
do.
it's a
I know you do.
crazy soap opera that is entertaining. I think it's better than the modern Michael
I
Bay
think I think if
Transformers
they
movies. Yeah.
I think if you use the transporter, you could get the doll onto the shuttle, but
Oh, it's
they just
just
drop it randomly, like, and it makes it exactly where it needs to be.
no, that thing. I don't even know why they brought that thing up. It was almost like to infantilize Rachel Garrett, and she's like, they were she says, oh, I found this doll, I found a Tickle Me Elmo, and unfortunately it comes from a planet that uses like some very very explosive power sources, and then I'm gonna plug it into something and I'm gonna launch it out into space and it's gonna blow up in the place that where the other ship is. And it's like, this is so stupid. This is the worst plan I have ever heard. And then
Mhm.
it works. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, of course it does, because there's no stakes for the people. We have to,
Eh,
like,
yep.
Rachel Garrett is not going to die. We know this. It
Right.
is evident based on the fact that she shows up in yesterday's Enterprise. So whenever they put Rachel Garrett in trouble, it's like she'll get out of it.
Yeah, but it's not even good. And
No, it's
like
not.
of course, yeah, you're right. But like you said earlier, also, oh, we get it. You're a terrifying soulless murderer who we can never truly trust. And all of the dialogue in that scene, aside from the one from Quasi, who's just he just lays it out plainly, but everyone else is all more cringeworthy. They say, "Oh, you're a bad bitch," and I can't with this movie anymore. I'm glad it's over. I'm
Me
glad
too.
I'm never going to see it again.
Me
But-
neither. That's why I didn't make slides. Can you imagine if we
oh
had to
my
watch
God.
slides?
No, I could not do slides with this. I'm glad we did it this way.
I'm glad I didn't make slides because you would have been like, you know what, Scott? I appreciate the fact that you made the slides, but I don't want to watch them.
And then right in the middle of the bar, the supposedly secret organization takes a call and mission directives from the head of Section 31, which is called Control for some reason. And we get
Apparently.
the last thing I'll put on screen from this movie is
Hey, everybody,
Well-
look. It's that girl from Halloween. She was in Freaky Friday. I think she was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the only reason that she's here is because she's friends with Michelle Yeoh. So, anyway, this isn't a place that you would put William Sadler as Sloan, Luther Sloan. This isn't somewhere that you would put, I don't know, Malcolm Reed and say that he is still kicking around. You age him up. This is not a place that you would put any legacy character of Star Trek who has been associated with Section 31 and say that they are in charge of Section 31. Like anyone. It doesn't matter. Who do we have? We have the lady from Freaky Friday. Fuck this noise, Silent Bob. This is one of the most embarrassing things that I have ever seen an Oscar winner do. In fact, it's one of the most embarrassing things that I've seen two Oscar winners do. And if you do know of something that two Oscar winners have done that is more embarrassing, please hit me up at ScottyR37 on X. And if you say Ishtar, I think that Ishtar is better than Section 31.
Well, maybe you might be able to find Snoop Dogg does like you can just ask him to be in anything and he'll do it. Like and so maybe there's something there. I don't know if there's something that he was in that was embarrassing or not. But he says yes to a lot of things. But this is Jamie Lee Curtis is head of Control. And lucky for her, this is a one-off TV special and we'll never have to see it. She'll never have to say no to the rest of the series ever again.
Please.
And so stopping the screen. That's it. And then the stupid space station and all its little stupid ships too. Fold up and take off. The end.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
Because it's a space station that's outside of Federation space. There's no reason for them to have to take off at the end. And it just like it collapses upon itself like some sort of anyway. I don't even know.
Yeah,
how to describe
did they just murder all of the people in those rooms? Like all
no, it's not like a transformer.
Okay, I don't know how movie ships.
But
and,
why?
Moving,
but why did that happen?
Things
but
have to.
Why did that happen?
It didn't have
like the entire the space station contracts upon itself and it makes it look a little bit more aerodynamic, which doesn't make any fucking sense in space because there's no air. And it like contracts and then everybody, like there's a bunch of ships that are outside of the space station and they all go to warp, but you don't really see them go to warp. You just see like the pop, pop, pop of whatever when people go to warp in Star Trek. But like, and there are so many of them. You're like, who's going to warp? And then the big space station, it transforms and then it goes to warp. But it never gives any indication as to why everyone is going to warp. Because it's not a Section 31 station.
Well,
as established at the beginning.
Scotty, it's more simple than that. The fidget spinners and fidget toys are super popular with the kids today. So, every ship has to be played with like a fidget toy.
Oh my God.
No.
So the last shot of this television special, makes me very, very angry, and it makes me even more angry to try and explain it. So I'm not going to.
I wanted to say hello to James Caserta. So she's an evil homicidal psycho bitch. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. You're supposed to like her. You know how
Yeah,
much you're
no.
supposed to like her is that they elevate her to. Well, so I didn't like Star Trek Picard season 3, but one of the cutesy things they did was take Worf and say all the titles that he had, like Slayer of Gowron and all that stuff, like House of Ruzhenko. And it's just like, okay, that's you're trying to be cutesy with that because they were playing off of Loxana Troy's daughter, the fifth house holder of the sacred chalice of Reeks and all that, and this you might have forgotten this shit, right? Does that too? They do it too. Her most imperial majesty, mother of the fatherland, overlord of Vulcan, whatever. They do it too, and it's just bad. It's just she doesn't deserve.
I'm okay with it, too-ish.
She doesn't deserve that. And why I'm not okay with it is because this is the point in the script where she's done nothing to actually endear herself to Alec, but we're supposed to believe that they're best friends at this point. And so he helps her read out this he's like admires her now. He looks at her like he cares about her, and like there's going to be like a romance later. I am so glad that all the things set up in this thing we're never going to know, because I don't want to know.
So what do you give if you were to rate?
I already did IMDb. I couldn't give 0, so I gave it a 1.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 0.
Yeah, I give a 0 if I can.
I think that this has made me actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a 1 because Discovery is a 0.
Yeah.
I'm never going to revisit Discovery.
It's patient 0. It's patient 0 of Kurtzman Trek.
Yep. That makes sense. I'm on board with that. But no, I'm never going to watch Discovery from front to back. Never. And if people say, oh, but I thought you were supposed to be a Star Trek expert who knows things. I've seen things, and I'm okay with not exploring that entirely. I'm still gonna visit Strange New Worlds. I'm still gonna visit
and you're
Lower
gonna
Decks.
make me watch the gimmicky episodes.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna make you watch the fucking goofy ones.
The animated one.
Yeah, no, the crossover on Strange New Worlds with Boimler and Mariner. Yeah, totes. That's a good episode.
I watched, and it's not a good. Nah.
It's fun. It's just fun. It may not be a good episode, but it's fun. But no, this is something that I will throw away. I've already thrown it away. The only reason I'm talking about this is because I think it's an excellent preamble in terms of talking about good Star Trek, because with Rachel Garrett, or at least a poor facsimile, we're going to be talking about yesterday's Enterprise. And I would rather talk about good, strong Star Trek and strong female characters and strong adherence to the history of Star Trek then watch this fucking pablum that leaks out of your lunch bag. This is one of the worst things that has ever been done to Star Trek, and I hate it. I thought it was worse than every single Hallmark Christmas special I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yes, I will now go to Christmas and not complain to my mother-in-law what she's watching.
Yeah, you should ask her to watch.
I never actually complain about her Hallmark. I do it internally. But,
you should buy the DVD and take it over, and then be like, "Oh yeah, you think? Remember when I thought this was bad? Watch this." And she'll be like, "No." She'll be like Ruafu.
Oh, one more thing, Fuzz. Keep Trip's name out of you.
I love Trip. Leave Trip out of this. Trip is rad.
No. Fuzz is naming one of his children Trip and Trip 2.
Yeah, I thought that was a lazy reference.
Yeah.
I saw that and I thought it was just lazy.
Yeah. And then,
Trip 2.
There's so
it's
much
like you don't understand why he's called Trip. It's because he is Charles Tucker III. That's why he is named Trip. You don't call someone Trip.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's called a nickname. They don't get it. Man.
very angry.
There was some notes I didn't get, like how the array shoots fire into the sky, like Sauron, like this is the eye of Sauron now or something.
Who
I
cares?
don't know what's going on.
It was stupid.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot of stupid, but what's not stupid is our chat, and I need to read some of it before we go. All hail Her Most Imperial Majesty, Mother of Fatherland, Dominius of Kronos, Regina Andor. I'm not reading her full name. They give her Philippa Georgiou, and they give her some some Greek names at the end there. Why? I don't know. Greek Letters Larson says whoever came up with Section 31 doesn't have the slightest clue what espionage is. And in terms of Kurtzman Trek Section 31, yes. If you want to see Ira Stephen Bear's depiction of Section 31, it does depict espionage a little more believably.
I know you don't like it, Jill. I know you don't like the idea of Section 31, but I do. But also I enjoyed it because it was a matter of testing Julian and also Starfleet officers, because Julian lets people know what's going on with Sloane and Section 31. And he's like, is this a thing? And when he brings it to Cisco is like, not on my watch, even though he's done some stuff.
Right. But this is worse. What Section 31 does is worse. And he's like, you didn't even tell me. You're telling me now. And yeah, he was pretty upset about that. But yeah, I would have been more okay with Section 31 if it came around because of the Dominion War, because of the what was going on, and people were outraged by it, and they decided to do something about it. And they're renegade people abusing the meaning of the Starfleet Charter. That would have been fine. The problem was that it retcons all the way back to before TOS said, "Oh, Section 31's existed all along." And that's what I didn't like, was the backpedaling.
I liked that Section 31 was an unsanctioned. Like, just unsanctioned. Like, you're off the books. We don't know who you are.
These are
You're not supposed to be doing this. The Section 31, by definition, under Starfleet, is a group of criminals, but they feel justified based on an interpretation of the Starfleet Charter. That I was okay with. It's
they're protecting the Federation. They think that they believe what they're doing is the right thing.
They're misguided, but they're doing what they think is right, even though it is, not the value of Starfleet or the Federation. And the thing with Kurtzman and even, Kelvin is that they were like, oh no, Section 31 is a thing. It's like the CIA. It's just it's a branch. It's a branch of Starfleet. And it's like, no,
that's what Kurtzman Trek thinks it is.
Yeah, and they're wrong. They are so wrong. It's because if Starfleet in my Star Trek, in the 735.
Oh, shoot. I'm really far back in the chat. I'm so sorry, Scotty, and you subjected yourself to this pile of cow dung. Me too.
I had to see it.
We both had to see it because, well, my favorite people to listen to about Star Trek and who talk about it, they're not here, so I've got to do it. I've got to do some of it, not all of it, but this was one of those things. Star Trek is in such a weird place right now, and it had to be talked about. If Bird Prey 5 or Clobby were here to talk about it, I would not. I would said, nah, I'm good. I got my people here who tell me what's what, but I had to. I'm sorry. I had to bring them into it, but they were my favorite. I love them.
The worst part about being a modern Star Trek fan is that you have to watch modern Star Trek.
Yeah. The movie was rushed, says Melanie Jean Mayfield. I wanted to see episodes about how Philippa adopted Michael. I forgot she did that. How she became captain, how she ran away. I run a cantina in our universe. Yeah, it is. It is the Star Wars cantina. Yeah, I forgot that she adopted Burnham. Like, how do you do that? She was a grown woman. I didn't really ever jive with that. Philip Gaming says super weapon. Yeah,
Hey, Phil.
there was a, what did you call it? A fidget spinner? No, wait, no, you called it a
Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
Rubik's Cube super weapon. A weapon that only destroys half the quadrant is Kurtzman's idea of restraint. Yeah, right? Whatever happened to the Doomsday Machine that just eats one planet at a time? I miss the good old days here. Should we be seeing slides? We can't. No slides. Let me see. I'm so far back. I'm like 2 hours ago. It bugs me when people say Modesto is an hour and a half south. That's okay. So I'm sorry, I can't do distance right now. I would have fun with that on another stream. But Red Letter Media video was awesome. Of course, they're always awesome. Red Letter Media is amazing. Philip Gaming says, I watched the Red Letter Media review. They're exactly correct in their assessment. Yes, but that poor plate didn't do anything wrong. It was made before the year 2000. You should send me the plate, Mike.
You know what? I like the fact that they broke the plate because it was a carcinogenous vessel in which Rich had to eat pizza off of it, and he might die. He might die because of eating pizza off of that thing.
Okay, maybe all the lead wore off of it somehow. Melanie
all of the asbestos.
But that is I'm just kidding. Red Letter Media's thing was that they destroy things. They destroyed a bunch of Star Wars toys in a vat full of acid.
Okay,
so they smashed stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are fans of Anti-Derivative Jill, I would recommend sending her a commemorative plate, and she will eat pizza off of it. Even if it is carcinogen.
Oh, thank you so much, Sigvaldison. I didn't realize you sent me another super chat. Hey, look over there. Rabbit Khan, discuss. Oh, the way better movie, you mean? Okay. Because
have we reviewed? Did we review?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
We've reviewed all of
Was I there?
We reviewed all of the real Star Trek movies, and you were there for all of them.
No. Did I have a good time?
Yeah, you had a great time. You talked about
good, super.
There's some personal issues you brought up in that live stream. Actually, if anybody ever wants to go learn more about Scotty's life, I won't talk about it now.
Great,
but I'm just scrolling through. We don't even have Greyhound buses up here anymore. Oh no, why not? Melanie likes the movie, and so yeah, there's, like you said, different strokes.
Wait, go back to Melanie.
Especially Michelle Yeoh.
But I didn't love it, and that's cool. Like Mel, I'm glad you quote unquote liked it. Was it offensive? It just wasn't like it was generic space action Firefly ripoff. Like it didn't stab me in the back like I was Fuzz or anything. But like when you
Firefly
put it up
had a theme.
When you put it up to everything that I consider in terms of Star Trek, I was like, this wasn't even a Star Trek movie. This was a Fast and the Furious movie. That's my opinion. But if you liked it, if it was non-offensive, then I admire your patience.
Yeah. God's End. No, yeah. Oh, right. That part where they're trying to figure out what it is. And so, as of 1:00, Gorillas buys 2 lottery tickets. I don't know what number that is up to now at this point.
Oh, it's all the lottery tickets. He wants to spend $20 on lottery tickets.
Did she time travel? Yes. Thomas Edison and murder Thomas Edison. Oh, right, because it's dark and dreary. And also Tesla, yeah, because they both worked on the advancement of electricity, which is needed to power the light bulbs on a starship. About an hour and 20 minutes ago, Greek Letters Larson says, show's over. Tune in next week for a high production value movie with much better script direction and acting that truly celebrates Star Trek legacy. This ain't Star Trek 2. The Rear Decks. Is there a sequel? I wouldn't be surprised.
I haven't. No, I've only seen the one pornographic Star Trek. Actually, I've seen two, but one was original series and the second one was Next Generation.
Yep.
I got
He's
so
thirsty, so I kept
dehydrated
thinking,
watching both of them. Just fluids everywhere.
What? What does that even
Huh?
mean?
Sorry?
What happened?
Oh,
Kristen loves blowing up planets. Yep. Cisco poisoned a planet. Yeah, but they got to evacuate. Nobody died. So he just evacuated.
well,
the
we're not
planet.
sure.
No, I am sure. I very much was paying attention to the death count there, because if Cisco actually killed anybody, that would not be redeemable. And so he just forced people by making their world poisoned. So it's like if they would have poisoned Earth, but we all had a chance to leave first. But that's still terrible because we lose our home. So that was pretty fucked up, Cisco. But
I forget the retaliation, because he destroys the biosphere, but I think that he did that because the Maquis had destroyed a biosphere, so it was like an eye for an eye.
Oh,
which I don't agree with.
That's not Starfleet. Anyway, Gorilla says, make sure to talk about that creepy ass doll. Yeah, we did. We did talk about that. Like, why would anybody make that for children? It's like, well, I know there have been dangerous toys in the past, but I don't see anybody actually buying that. Section 31 makes Discovery. I can't go that far. I don't.
No, I don't think it's. No, I don't. I would rather see. The thing is, like the Dead Man, 5 seasons of Discovery, and an hour and a half of Section 31. So, just based on how much attention I have to pay, I'm going to go ahead and say Section 31 is better than Discovery, just because it's shorter.
Yeah,
what is Section 31 about? About 93 or 95 minutes.
Well, they condensed the entire season or whatever into, or at least 3 episodes. At least 3 episodes into one. And
Did you ever get the impression when watching this, and you were like, "Oh my God, they could have turned every season of Star Trek Discovery into a 90-minute movie"?
Absolutely, yes. Every single season of New Trek is something that could be condensed into a short movie, because they all have these overarching mystery plots that you have to solve at some point, and that's absolutely something you could do to everything, and that's actually a symptom of modern television writing in general, that they have a long 10-hour movie that's, there's some mystery that we have to solve, and it's just really so totally boring.
If this had been directed properly and it was 2 hours or 2.5 hours, like look at the Snyder Cut from Justice League. And it's like, if they had a good director with a good cinematographer who could have made something visually engaging and narratively intriguing, this could have been a 2-hour movie or a 2-hour and 15-minute movie. But as it is right now, it is a failed pilot that I am ashamed.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Fuck this movie. Fuck this. Fuck this.
It's totally embarrassing.
Yes.
I hated Star Trek Picard season 3, but I would get people who saw the Star. I know, but I would get people who saw the Star Trek symbol, because I have one on my curbside next to my address. I got one painted on there, and so they were like, "Have you seen the new Star Trek?" I'm just like, "No, I haven't seen." I just lied to him because I didn't want to get in an argument with the pizza person bringing my pizza to me. And the comic anyway, but this, I'm sure nobody's going to be praising this. Anyway, the Comic Relief Crusader says everything about this movie was a boil on the ass of my senses. And I know he's probably already streaming right now, so I'll be closing up pretty soon myself. So go check out. Oh wait, he's actually.
I have 7 more hours of complaints.
It's Wednesday. I do. This live stream could actually, if I didn't have to go pick up my children in a few minutes.
No, I'm seriously gonna. I haven't had a cigarette in like a week and a half, but I'm gonna go. You
can't.
I can. I can do whatever I want. I'm Raffy.
Oh no, you're relapsing. Did I say that? I probably did.
I absolutely hate this fucking shit. Yeah, James Caserta. Yeah, Jill said that. I do recall.
I didn't mean to, but this.
No, you did. Thing. You did.
Oh, I get angry and I get a little worked up.
But also, Jill, yes or no? Do you hate this fucking shit?
Yes.
There you are.
Oh, Tiger Stripes. Wow, y'all are going long. I watched Red Letter Media's review and Drinker's review. Scotty's being very kind here and finding a few positive words. Yeah, mostly about the actors. Like, it's not totally the actors' fault that, they got fooled into this thing. I felt obligated to watch Red Letter Media reviews, if only because their thumbnails make me laugh so hard. Their eyes always bleeding. Yeah, the thumbnails are cool. Yeah, I do like Red Letter Media is great. Rich is my spirit animal.
Mike is mine.
Section 31 takes place in the 24th century on stardate 1292, which is April 17th, 2324. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that really. Yeah, right. Okay, and the Battle of Kittimer was 2346. So based on that, she's like in her 30s in this, and she's going to be in her 50s for yesterday's.
I just wish they didn't use Rachel.
Yeah, they didn't need to. It was totally unnecessary.
Well,
I don't care about spoilers when it comes to Filth. Yeah.
I was listening to someone else, and it was like one of the things that would have really added some Star Trek credibility is like show the era, show the uniforms, show an Excelsior class ship, show something that puts it in the era, because there's been confusion throughout these reviews. When does it take place? When did Carl throw Georgiou back? Like when, what is, how? Like there is so much confusion based on no one ever watched Discovery, even though you produced it forever. Like what?
Yeah, you can forgive people who say this is around TOS because that's what they said about Discovery. So who cares? This is
like it just doesn't.
None of it says that this is anywhere around TNG. You're right. Nothing in the designs. And
this is a matter.
Is because Scotty, they're outside the Federation space, so nothing.
Oh no, not outside. Like this is something that it is. I'm finally being this, and as I've said, this is the moment where I'm just like, okay, so the people who are in charge of Star Trek have no idea what's going on with Star Trek. I am just finally, shut up, stop it, get some help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Narendra 3 was 2344, the actress playing Garrett, and TNG was 45, so yes. But nothing in the character Rejection 31 shows hints at the leader that Captain Garrett was shown to be. And that was the thing. The only way they played hints to that was, I'm going to be captain someday. And I don't know why I recite Rachel like that, but that's just how I do. I don't know what's going on with me, but they don't actually show her. That's a thing in my notes that I never really got to, was this show is all about telling and not showing. They tell you she's going to be captain one day, but they don't show you. she's going to be captain one day, or anything. Almost anything in this show is like that. Is done
But
that way.
this is
They tell you Giorgio is redeemed and cares about and regrets her past, but they don't show you.
this is the best part about this television special coming out, is that this is going to be a 1-2 punch on your channel. We're going to watch this piece of shit with the bastardization of a character that we all admire in Rachel Garrett, and we're going to be talking about yesterday's Enterprise on Friday. But the thing that really bothers me is that Rachel Garrett is, in my mind, based on yesterday's Enterprise, like an advocate for the Klingons.
Yeah, because it's the whole reason that peace happens. It's the whole reason that they're because they come to help the Klingons at a very critical juncture, and that's why it's so important to history, and that's why yesterday's Enterprise is such an important episode.
She is the most honorable human in the eyes of the Klingons at that particular moment. And the Romulans attack. But let's not forget, she's the one who breaks the rules in this narrative. She's against everything.
Yeah, she is. No, she's
in this fucking coloring book.
Right, but she's meant to be that way because they want to make fun of Starfleet, so they make her the Karen.
Why
as
in
you
the
said
name
earlier,
of
that was
sweet
a
God?
perfect. That was a perfect.
Why would you make
description.
fun? Why would you make fun of honorable and duty?
I don't know.
Like it
because
just
that's
seems...
not what Kurtzman wants to be.
Why does he want to destroy any sort of adherence to good?
I don't know. But
like his character is flawed.
Sees him because Kurtzman is very good at negotiating and saying what he thinks people want to hear. Like very much a sociopath, and so hopefully they
I'm
don't
a
listen
sociopath,
to him,
and I'm fine with it.
But they. Hopefully Skydance looks at this and sees Kurtzman for who he truly is through the lens of this production, and just decides to allow Secret Hideout to go. There are other production companies out there who can make beautiful things. Find another production company, please.
Well, my personal, my assessment of the situation is that I love talking to Star Trek fans. I love talking to people who sort of talk about morality. I'm not a Starfleet officer. I wish I were aspiring to the virtue of Starfleet. I know I don't, but I wish I were. And it's an aspiration. And when I watch Star Trek, I want that virtue to be presented to me, something that is sort of like a fable, something that is be good to everyone. Try and understand other people.
That's the feeling that I want from Star Trek. I want to walk away from it thinking, wow, I just saw something that made me reassess my own life and how can I be a better person based on what I just watched. That is not something you get from New Trek.
No, we should murder people is what's going on now.
Right.
Bad guys are bad. So I just don't understand what they're doing, and I don't think that they understand what they're doing, but they're giving I think that the best, again, going back to Red Letter Media, I think, and it's when Michelle Yeoh was doing this movie, and then it was like, oh, and then Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. And then it's like, come on, Jamie Lee, they're burning money. Come. It's like they don't understand it, and they don't understand optimism. They want rebellion. But the thing is that the Star Trek isn't about rebellion. That's Star Wars. Star Trek is about, we've learned, we understood. This is where we should be going, and can we all go there together? And that's what Star Wars is. Or sorry,
right.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. We're not going to kill today.
We're not going to fight. Like this specific choice is let's not fight.
And
Let's find out how to move forward.
We won't fight unless that's our last option. That's the last thing we have to do. Then yes, we were forced into this, and yes, then
Of
we should
course we have
definitely defend
weapons. They're
ourselves.
defensive weapons, as Jim said.
And yeah, and then there's just it's never going to be understood by this outfit. So I want
Well, yeah, but that's because Alex Kurtzman was hit in the temple with a crane hook as a child. He was stupid, and fuck him. I wish his mom swallowed him.
But so on that note, I think that's a perfect way to live in this live stream. I have to go. Mostly, I just have to go. That I need to pick up my child. Otherwise, I would rail on this maybe another couple of hours somehow, because it seems like a conversation that's been a long time coming. Star Trek is in such a tough spot right now. So I understand those who say it's dead. I prefer to think it's in a long-term coma, and what Skydance decides will determine its fate this year. And there was a mysterious bidder called Project Rise Partners, but Paramount rejected it. So Skydance is our only hope to do the right thing and see if they allow Secret Hideout's contract to expire. And if they do, I'm gonna be having a party somewhere.
I can't wait to be invited.
Yeah, even if that means we don't get Star Trek for a while we assemble the team of real science fiction authors instead of having all these soap opera procedural TV show writers.
That would be so interesting. I would love to hear who you want to be recruited.
Well,
modern science fiction authors.
That's a whole other live stream on its own, but
we'll do that later. We'll do that later.
We can even go. We could obviously they're the obvious ones, people who worked on 90 Star Trek, which I've said before. But yeah, we can go beyond that. Yeah. We can go beyond that and find some science fiction authors who are writing, who are possibly more pulp science fiction writers who write things that would be adaptable to TV.
Neil Gaiman,
really interesting things. Like,
let's get
somebody creative. What?
Nothing. No, it's just what I heard.
I don't know what you're talking. Okay, right. I didn't mean that person. I don't know who that is. But did you have any final thoughts before I close out today?
My final thoughts on today's conversation. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat who was here. I had much more fun talking about the intricacies of Star Trek with a fellow Star Trek fan than I did talking about the primary subject. No, I love talking about Star Trek so much. And even if you want to spend an hour and a half watching Section 31, I would recommend doing your laundry and folding it and having it on in the background just so you have a frame of reference.
Yeah, at least we'll have gotten something productive done with your life.
Like do something else while it's on in the background. I'm not that angry at it. It's one of those things where it's when you see somebody who has pooped themselves in public and you feel bad about it, but you're just like, I don't want to.
I'm kind of with you there, actually. Even though, I did kind of sound angry during this review, but some part of me is like, oh, come on, this is easy. You can do this. But they can't do this. They can't.
Yeah.
And yeah,
like I don't understand.
This is what we expect at this point.
Yeah. So anyway,
and I don't want to anymore. I want to.
I've been defending New Trek. I've been defending New Trek for a long time. But whenever anybody now says to me, it's like, yeah, but what about Section 31? And I'm gonna have to say, you got a good point.
Mm-hmm. Jill mostly goes out at night.
Mostly.
Anyway, thank you, Gavin. Scotty and Jill, please have a nice rest of your day. Thanks for the show. Yes.
Cheers.
Yes, and we did mention Cobby. You can still hear his voice over on his channel, as well as Bird. I had to go out. Surprised you're still going. Yeah, we're just closing up. I'm just gonna say a few more things and I'll hit the ending credits, but I don't know if I'm gonna play my normal.
Oh, can you do me a favor?
What should I do?
Absolutely smashing. Can you get me a little Trelane?
Oh, okay. Okay, there it is.
Absolutely smashing.
There he is.
Delightful.
Yeah. And let's see, what should I put? I don't know what to play for this. I should have.
Well, I thought you had a closing statement.
Oh, I do.
So do
Oh.
that.
Jesse's infuriating, sir. How can you stand it?
I am.
It functions irrationally.
What a charming negress.
Okay. I know what I'm gonna do now. Okay.
All right.
So I do hope we get. I do hope. I know I already said this. Secret hideout. Go away, please. In the meantime, while we wait to see if that happens, we still have real Star Trek to watch. The 735 iterations and everything. To that point, on Friday, we will talk about yesterday's Enterprise, which features the real Rachel Garrett. And so this was a discussion that had to be said here. It was, I don't know, was it like a therapy session, but it was also a little bit exhausting at the same time. But I enjoyed it to some level. Just accepting Kurtzman. I think all of Kurtzman Trek is bad. I know you like some of it. I don't.
I like some of it.
But I did. And I enjoyed the most was the conversation. Thank you for having the conversation with me, Scotty R37, and also everyone in the chat. All of your wonderful comments. Thank you, Melanie, for subscribing, and everyone and Sig Baldison. Thank you for the super chats. Those are really sweet. And that, you guys fill me up and remind me that I'm not alone in thinking about this stuff. So this is a good place. And I do believe, maybe one day we'll have good Star Trek. Maybe someday. The heart to do it is out there, or else we wouldn't have gotten Star Trek Continues. So it is possible. So we'll keep an eye out. And that's all for now. I wish you guys a phenomenal Friday.
Live long and prosper.
And I'm gonna play a bunch of adversarial clips because I'm so angry.
But you get on my nerves, and I don't like your hat.
If I were human, I believe my response would be, go to hell.
Well, a double dumbass on you!
Now you're sounding like Spock. If you're gonna get nasty, I'm gonna leave.
Let me alone!
Most distasteful.
Well, you got to close out with the
what you said there is exactly that one word is what's missing in my opinion. This is my opinion. Love. I think that's what's missing in Star Trek now. It just seems like a hollow shell with a wind-up key on the back. We can just keep an outlook and hope things change for the next generations. I'm old, so I know I'm not around, and I know I have the classics to enjoy. I look at the original series cast. The way I look at it is like a family to me. They're a family. I was a kid. I used to go hang out at their house every night at 6 o'clock, and they all treated me like one of them. But sadly to say, they've all passed away. Their house is still there. I can walk by and see the house, and there it is. But I know there's different people living inside, and I can understand that. So
Right.
I hope eventually Star Trek will be in the hands of somebody who cares about it, who does have hope for the future, who does want to write straight to the hearts and the minds of the fans out there, and not to the bottom dollar, pretty much.